Wellington Road in.
NP7 Sport, in association with the Victorian Football League, proudly present this live and exclusive coverage of the 1983 Army Reserve Cup Grand Final between Collingwood and Essendon.
Good morning once again, everyone, and welcome to our continuing coverage on 7. We come now to the Army Reserve Cup Grand Final to be played this year between Collingwood, a very strong Collingwood side, and a most enthusiastic Essendon line. With once again, I welcome to the microphone former Collingwood champion Peter McKenna. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning, Sandy. How are you?
Extremely well, and so too are the conditions and the ground here at the MCG for this Army Reserve Cup match.
Perfect conditions. We just saw the under-19s game, which of course Melbourne won, and they handled the ball beautifully. So I think we're going to see two great games this afternoon, the Army Reserve Cup and of course the senior match.
Peter, let's have a look at the two sides competing in the Army Reserve Cup final, because the Collingwood side in particular is studded with some very good senior players, and the interesting thing with the Essendon lineup, it's going to give us an idea of just who is going to be on the interchange bench for the seniors, because is Copping going to come out, is Ezard going to come out, is Cameron Clayton or Ronnie Andrews?
Well, it's very handy for Alan Jeans, of course, to Sandy to get the first look. He'll see who's out there on the ground, he'll know who's playing for the Essendon senior side, but that Collingwood side looks a very, very experienced side, and yet the Essendon side, even though they were well beaten by Collingwood in the last time they met out at VFL Park, they will be strengthened by the inclusion of those three players who dropped down from the 5 interchange named.
Actually, their line-up in the Army Reserve Cup, well, their confidence would be moving not unlike that of their senior side, because they've started to win in the reserves, and we've seen their confidence, particularly over the last 2 weeks, really grow.
Yes, it's been an amazing transformation. In fact, Kevin Morris has done a marvellous job with that Essendon reserve side, and well, when you look through it, they've got some pretty good players. You know, guys like Michael Thompson, Salmon. Well, I see Ronnie Andrews mentioned. It'll be interesting to see actually if he's in it, but he'll liven it up if he's playing. And Frank Donnell, Alan Stoneham, all those guys, Graham Schultz, have all had senior experience. And I think this is going to be a magnificent match we're going to witness in the Army Reserve Grand Final.
I don't know whether Collingwood were pulling a blind or not, but I couldn't believe some of the placings of their players in the paper late in the week. For example, they had Mark Wiedemann at centre-half bank, Banks on a wing, Teasdale at half-forward. I would imagine Tees would probably start up in the pocket or at full forward.
No way known Graham Teasdale will play centre-half forward, Sandy. I think that's pretty obvious. The last game we saw, of course, Graham was struggling a bit for pace. That was down at the Lakeside Oval, and I'm pretty sure he'll play in that goal square, because he certainly hasn't fully recovered from that knee injury.
Well, where would you play Mark Wiedemann? Would you play him perhaps at half-forward or on the ball?
I think that Mark will probably play as an interchange, changing in the ruck with Stuart Acton. Acton was named as interchange ruckman. I'm pretty sure those two, I'm not sure which one will start off, but I'm pretty sure they'll do the ruck work. And one player I'll be very interested to watch there for the Collingwood side is Alan Edwards, because he really, you know, he has got a ton of talent, and I just would love to see Alan Edwards get back into senior football. And today, well, maybe the start of a big comeback for Alan, and he's a big game player and a tremendous mark. So, as I say, I'm pretty sure he'll line up at centre forward.
All right then, Peter. Well, we'll know exactly what is going to happen in just a couple of minutes' time when the two sides come out on the ground. We'll take a break and return to the MCG in just a moment.
6 o'clock.
Back to the MCG, as we said here, conditions getting better all the time. Sunshine streaming over the ground and people streaming into the ground. A capacity house today for the big grand final, and the Army Reserve Cup grand final getting underway in just 5 or 6 minutes' time. We've got people absolutely everywhere today. We might start off by going up into the air to our Channel 7 newsroom helicopter and say good morning to Max Stevens.
Yes, Sandy, thanks very much, and good morning to you all from the 7 National News helicopter. We're sitting at 800 feet over Brunton Avenue, and what can you say about Melbourne's fickle weather? Today, the Weather Bureau tells me it's expecting a top temperature of 15 degrees. Currently, we have a southerly wind of about 15 to 20 knots. From the west, several black clouds, but behind them, blue sky, and I'm sure it'll be clear for the start of today's grand final. The traffic situation at this stage is extremely good down Wellington Parade, Bridge Road, Punt Road and Swan Street. Looking over the southeastern freeway, also rather light traffic. Inside the MCG, as you can see, the crowd is starting to build up. And I've got a little word for Don Scott. I was speaking to Mel Brown, the coach of South Fremantle, and he's told me he's out of contention for the job, and it's now open season for Don Scott and Neil Barnes. Sandy.
Thank you, Max, for that little report. We'll just have to wait and see what happens there with the Richmond coaching job. Well, that was a look at the MCG from there, and I wouldn't imagine there will be any traffic problems at all, because people have been urged to take as much advantage of public transport as they possibly can today, and it would appear as though they are doing that at the moment. But that's from the air. Let's go down to the ground, because that's what it's all about, and say good morning to Stephen Phillips.
Good morning once again, Sandy. Yes, the conditions down here at the moment are absolutely first rate. It's nice and sunny. There is a breeze. During the under-19 match, it was blowing straight down the ground from the main scoreboard end towards the punt road end of the ground, but now it's swung round, and I notice above the Olympic stand up here, the northern stand, that the green Fighting Kangaroo, the wind blowing straight across the wing position, and that Fighting Kangaroo flag is really fluttering. The ground is still pretty damp. We had a very heavy shower at about 20 past 8 and light showers in the first half of the under-19 grand final, in which you saw Melbourne win so convincingly against North Melbourne. Waiting for the teams to come out onto the ground, and as soon as they're out here, I might have a word to both coaches and see if I can get any last-minute team changes.
All right, thank you for that, Steve, and no doubt the ground would have dried considerably, because it warmed up, particularly at half-time in that under-19s match, with everyone getting in and having a bit of a go. And speaking of people arriving, it's great to say good morning to Don Scott. Morning, Don.
Yes, it's confusing, the new press box, Standy. I was looking for the old one.
Well, it's a pleasure to be in this new one.
Yes, it's beautiful,
I
actually.
wonder if it'll be warm enough today too, Sandy. Have a look at this gear.
Well, I haven't got
gloves and the coat.
I didn't bring my Spencer, Peter. I was in such a hurry, I left it at home.
Have you got your handbag there too?
Yes, it's here. We're all prepared.
That's good.
Gentlemen, as we talk, it looks as though the Collingwood banner is going up. We might have a look at it now. And we will see the Collingwood side come out onto the ground to contest this Army Reserve Cup Grand Final. Through they come, and Don, as we said just before you arrived, the interest is going to be to see the Army Reserve Essendon lineup, and I'm quite sure Alan Jeans will be interested to see it. The other possibility that does arise is that we could perhaps see two of the three emergencies playing in the Army Reserve, because Brian Wood possibly may not take his place in the senior side.
Well, I think there's a number of things that come into consideration, Sandy. I firstly don't think Essendon will change their side. Secondly, I would say that the importance of the game today, that it is not beyond the realms of possibility. They could leave those people who are named as emergencies out of the Army Reserve grade team just to add confusion. But I really don't see how, maybe I'm wrong, it's a big statement, how Essendon could change their lineup.
I'm pretty sure I'd be very surprised if they left them out of the Army Reserves, Don. I think if they're available for the reserve side, I think they'll play. And like a bloke like Ronnie Andrews, of course, can play in the reserves today. The fact that his senior side is playing.
But Peter, as you can appreciate and understand, a little bit of an advantage, and maybe the advantage of the unknown, could be a factor that may help Essendon get the initial ascendancy, or the initiative.
I can see your point. I think it'd be a first, though, that any side would do that.
Well, it'd be some disappointing players too. Well, gentlemen, while you just move around to your commentary position and we see the Collingwood side out on the ground, we're still waiting for the Essendon lineup to make their way out. And what a big day it is for Bomber fans right throughout Australia, because they've waited a long, long time. They've done it the hard way. And this side we're looking at the moment is indeed a star-studded lineup. Number 20 is Graham Teasdale, who's a man who's come back after injury. There's another one too in Butch Edwards, Alan Edwards, with jumper number 8. And the Essendon boys are about to make their way out onto the ground, and this is where the interest centres. Who is going to be in this Army Reserve side? Up goes the Premiership Prelude banner, and the players are coming out now, and they will run through the banner in one group. Here they come. And we might go across to Don Scott and Peter McKenna and just see who they can pick up.
Well, the first one, Sandra, Ronnie Andrews is out there for a start. So Ronnie Andrews playing, Doug Cox is there, of course.
But Steve, I think more interest is with who they have reserved is Copping out there. Can you see him?
Well, we'll try and pick him up in a moment.
You see Andrews.
See Andrews there, yes. Number 4 on your screen, Salmon, Stoneham, Anthony O'Brien. 45 is Sheldon, 55 Callaghan. Steve Copping is not out there, so it looks like
Brian Wood's not there either. So that's interesting anyway, but then again, as I said earlier, I wouldn't be carried away with that because they've got some good reserves in Cameron Clayton and Wood. So it will be interesting to see how the senior team does line up.
My word, it will, yes. And big Ronnie Andrews back, and I'm afraid in the reserve. So we'll be just about set to get this game underway in a couple of minutes' time. Umpire's just having a couple of practice bounces with the football, but there's no problems at all in the middle there. Don, we've seen this Collingwood side on a number of occasions, and they've looked pretty impressive, haven't they? Although it's going to be interesting to see what they do, particularly with some of their big men like Mark Wiedemann today.
Well, this is interesting, Sandy, because we saw them and we said and we nominated the game as a most disgraceful game earlier on in the year in the final series itself. But Essendon have improved, and they've really impressed me because they've got a combination of youth and experience. They do really run at the ball, whereas Collingwood rely on their strength. They're big man. They kick the ball long into the forward line, and I think it's an old-fashioned game versus a new game.
No doubt, the army of Collingwood supporters very keen to see this group of men try and add another Premiership Cup to their trophy room. Let's go down to the ground before the game starts once again. Steve, you any news down there?
Yes, I have, as a matter of fact, Sandy. The Essendon side, Frank Donnell and Ronnie Andrews, not going to play in the seniors. Ronnie, obviously, you saw him running around out there. I talked to Robert Shaw, the Essendon coach, just a moment ago, and he said that the interchange players in the seniors would be from Alan Ezard, Stephen Copping and Cameron Clayton. I think Ronnie Andrews would be one of the most disappointed men in Melbourne at this very moment, and I suppose also Frank Donnell, who came on and played quite well in the last quarter of the preliminary final last week. And the Collingwood team, there are no changes, as you said. Back to you.
Steve, just before you go, if they have named Ezard, Copping and Clayton, could it possibly be that Brian Wood may not take his place at all in the side?
Well, I suppose it leaves plenty open for conjecture, and also one would think that Shooty might wait until the last minute with Melbourne's weather being so unpredictable and more showers predicted.
OK, Steve, we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Kevin Morris wearing the number 47 Guernsey. He's done a great job to get these boys up.
And he's played well himself, Sandy. He's been a very, very, very good leader.
Yes, he's been an inspirational leader. Frank Donnell just going out of picture there. And as Stephen said, probably one of the most disappointed men here today would be Big Ronnie.
Yes, I think after all those years playing at Essendon and a chance, and I'm pretty sure, Sandy and Don, that the suspension has certainly cost him his place in this grand final side, because out he went. In came Kevin Walsh against North Melbourne and played a great game at fullback, and of course Ronnie couldn't get back in the side to take his place. So I think there'll be a lot of Essendon supporters feeling today for Ronnie Andrews, because well, he certainly held in pretty high regard out there.
My word, he is, Pete. Well, we're just about set for a start in this Army Reserve Cup grand final, with Essendon going towards the scoreboard end. Teasdale, as we thought, making his way down to full forward. He was named at half forward.
Collingwood have won 7 reserve grade premierships, the last one in 76. Essendon have won 5, the last one in 68.
1968 again. So the opening bounce in the Army Reserve Cup grand final. Mark Wiedemann starting on the ball for Collingwood, up against Salmon. It's Wiedemann who wins it. Beers who puts them first into attack, down towards the half-forward line, and a good mark taken by Carl Herbert, one of the smallest players on the ground. Distance should not be a problem.
It's already interesting, Sandy, to note that from the first game, Mark Wiedemann started on the bounce against Salmon and got that hit out.
The kick from Herbert on its way. Teasdale makes plenty of mileage to say well done. And there's a good start for Collingwood.
The reason I say that, Sandy, because we remarked earlier about when Salmon gave it away, when Wiedemann stuck his feet up, Salmon gave it away and really didn't want to know about it. That was when Wiedemann was reserved. He showed a lot of aggression. Salmon remembers that, Wiedemann remembers it, and he got the first hit out, so that's what they require.
Interesting that Teasdale is down at full forward and Edwards centre half forward. Stewart is down at full back as well. Once again, Wiedemann jumps straight into Salmon, as Don said. Down towards the half forward line the ball goes. Here's a chance for the Magpies. Onto the left foot goes Kelly. Down towards full forward. Banks drop the sitter. In they go after it. It's on that half back line. Mark Thompson's got it. Goes for the hand pass. The umpire set a free kick. It's Ronnie Andrews' free kick behind the play. And listen to the roars of the Essendon supporters as Ronnie Andrews takes this kick at half-back flank.
The kick from Andrews up towards Morris. Can't complete the mark. Pushed out, paddled out towards the boundary line. Plenty of pressure on in the opening minutes. Schultz is in all sorts of trouble. Taken over the line. We mentioned Mark Wiedemann and Father Murray. The enforcer has come over from Adelaide for the big game today. Salmon won that tap out. Straight to Murray Brown. High in the air. Andrew Smith leads it. Thompson went for a roundhouse right, had an airy, but his namesake picks it up for Stoneham to the half-forward line. No mark taken there. Play on will be the call. The high kick by Donnell is fisted away by Stewart. Brown goes in, puts body over the ball, shovels it out the back door towards Beers. No one able to pick it up, and the umpire will come in.
Actually, there have been a couple of insipid efforts already, Sandy, and this is, you know, maybe an indicative of the way they're playing. Thompson, when he went for a whoosh, Beddison took a couple of short steps when he's running into the pack then.
Centre half forward. There it is as the ball is shoveled out. The umpire calls play on. It's on that half back line as Peter Carter kicks it towards centre wing. A diving attempt out there by Salmon. In goes Dennis Banks. He's playing for the free kick there. The umpire was awake up to that, though. And right in the centre of the ground, the bounce will take place. As the player injured behind the player, could be Tony Beers. I think it is, in fact, Alan Stoneham. Handballs to Morris. The ball is smothered in the centre of the ground. Hurried kick. That was by Harbinson. Right down towards the half-forward line. Out they come. It's grabbed down there by David Toomey. Onto the left foot he goes, looking for the short one further afield. Kevin Morris leads in the race for the ball. Shovels it back towards the boundary line. The umpire said a push in the back. And it will go either to Kevin Morris or Mark Thompson. Kevin Morris, the captain coach of the Bombers, will receive it.
Just on the defensive side of centre wing, he goes short. Effective, however, to Waterson.
Now, why?
Waterson to the half-forward line. Out comes Big Salmon. He takes it in front of the eyes. Callaghan gives the lead. It's a shocking pass.
That's a shocking poor kick. That's the weakness in his game, I think. Sandy's kicking. We've seen that in many games. He's a good player, a good mark, a good ruckman overall, but a very, very poor kick.
Carter's kick. Shaw out wide towards Herbert on the flank again. Looks for Edwards going past, but well intercepted. A chance now for Thompson to receive. He's in trouble. Ronnie Andrews is there. Puts the body in strongly. Pushed down towards Teasdale. He's muscled out of it. Here's a chance now for Cooper. He's goal.
Do something for yourself. Join the Army Reserve.
Centre bouncy all once again. Wiedemann ran straight into Salmon. That's the thing that Don Scott was talking about before. Banks goes in after it. Doug Cox is there also. Oh, brilliantly taken away by Gary Shaw. Onto the left foot he goes. Magpies are looking good. A lovely pass finds Tony Kelly almost at centre half forward. He ducks back and kicks it high towards the pocket. O'Brien goes back. Anthony O'Brien can't take the mark. Charging after it is Sean Duncan. He gets it onto his left foot. Oh, he's got loose men everywhere out there. Sheldon ducks back. Can't get to the ball before it beats him over the line and out of bounds. And as I speak, some very, very light rain falling. I don't think it'll make much difference to the game because the clouds are very, very high.
Just over 5 minutes played in this first term. Waterson again, flicking it over the shoulder, but smothered. And another throw. Totally booked out here at the MCG today for this game. And of course, all the action coming to you on the 7 network and associated stations. We certainly hope that you'll have a pleasant day as Andrew Smith goes to ground. He'll be free kick. Just about within scoring distance too for Smith. Teasdale calling in the square, saying go long. Carefully lines it up. Sheldon on the mark. The left foot drop punt from Smith going into the square and over the top for one behind only. So the first blemish on the scoreboard for either side. Collingwood moved to 2-1, 13. Essendon yet to score.
There's the kick from Anthony O'Brien out towards the half-back line. A lovely mark chipping in across the front of the pack is Tony Russell. He's normally a great kick. He goes for the long torpedo. Oh, Teaser goes back. Graham Teasdale couldn't quite take the mark. The ball comes off the hands of he and Anthony O'Brien over the line and through for another behind. So 2-2 Collingwood. Essendon yet to score as we see Gary Sheldon about to kick in from fullback on that left foot. The outer side of the ground. He kicks long and wide, and a beautiful mark over the top there is taken by Tony Beers.
It was a beautiful mark, Pete. He really had the drop on the pack then. The others really didn't get off the ground, but still good judgment.
There's the kick up towards full forward over the back of the pack, but there's a free kick, and big Paul Salmon will take this one for a push in the back, said the umpire. And Salmon, with his great height, is always a very, very handy player in these Army Reserve Cup games. Player who many people think has got a great future in the senior side. Here it is on half-back flank, and it's brought back into play there by Waterson. Over to Wiedemann. Wiedemann kicks it towards Cooper. Brett Cooper goes in hard after the ball, still keeping his eye on the ball. It's grabbed there on that half-back line. A free kick for in the back will go Essendon's way, and that is Michael Thompson on the bottom of the pack, I think, or is it Mark Eustace? Eustace, in fact, it is on half-back flank. He elects to kick straight over the centre. Scott Knight, oh, a big mark, Frank Donnell. A big fly over the top of Scott Knight, and he kicks towards the half-forward line. If anything, the breeze is favouring the end, which Collingwood is kicking to, I think. There's a free kick going to Stephen Richardson on half-forward flank for another push in the back.
He'll go down to the forward line where Andrew Callaghan is lurking. A very powerfully built forward.
Behind the play, Mark Eustace in all sorts of trouble. In fact, is being carried off the ground by 2 trainers. Sandy?
Bad news for young Mark Eustace at 15 metres. Sees Richardson just that much closer. Shoots towards goal and puts on one.
Those kicks are costly because he could have kicked that goal. He just was indiscriminate the way he just dropped the ball onto his boot.
Stewart does that. 2-2 to 1 point, favouring the Woods. Stewart going to the outer side. A bit of infringing going on there. And it looks as though the free kick will go the way of Banks. Dennis Banks on the half-back flank. Going short. Some loose checking by Essendon early on in this game. It allowed Collingwood to just sneak away. Smith's kick goes up towards the half-forward line. And we'll see the Woods move further forward now. Now, Teasdale has come out on a long lead. Was in the pack, but unable to complete the mark. Merv Harbinson gets a hurried kick back towards the centre. No mark taken, although it was a courageous effort. Collingwood attempting to use the handball. It's a chance for Kelly as he spears it back in towards full forward. Oh, Cooper's in the front. And taken a great mark.
Actually, it was a good mark, Sandy, but the interesting thing leading up to the play there, that Collingwood is not as skilled. There's Cooper in front. A basic thing, be in front in football. But the way Collingwood are attacking the ball is the big difference. They're not as skilled as Essendon because we saw young Herbert the way he kicked the hand pass. But here's Cooper lining up. And I think he's kicked truly. Yes, he has.
As Australia's leading lights, these 7 building societies have formed a bright new star, the National Permanent Network, with $4 billion in assets. A network with extra benefits for every Hotham investor. And Hotham remains a star in its own right, the brightest in Victoria. The National Permanent Network, Australia's new $4 billion superstar.
Back in the centre bounce, it was won on that occasion by Salmon, taken away by Merv Harbinson with a high kick up towards the half-forward line, a difficult one to mark.
Well, that's a free kick.
Well, he hasn't given it. He did go all over the top of him. Stoneham solidly met and is caught. Play on the call. Carter tackled once, twice. Now Andrew Smith hurriedly to the half-forward line. Banks got a bad bounce. Charging his way through Essendon is Douglas Cox, the former St Kilda and Richmond player. Down towards full forward. Callaghan with the one hand, forced onto the defensive. No one able to pick it up. Toomey goes with a roundhouse right to the boundary line and puts it over. So almost 11 minutes gone in this first term.
That's Michael Davis on the screen, and came on in place of Mark Eustace. That Collingwood back line is a very talented one. You've got Toomey with the experience in the seniors. You've got Stewart at full back. Carter's a good player. Graham Allen, of course, is a couple of hundred-game player. And, well, they're a pretty tough nut to crack down there, the Collingwood defence. There's the kick coming towards centre wing. A lovely pass finds Banks. Banks across to Kelly. Kelly has been a great finals performer. Up towards half-forward it goes. Gary Shaw overran it. Brett Cooper was in there. Oh, good strong play by Cooper. Knocked away over to Andrews. Andrews to Harvinson. Harvinson caught with the ball. Could have been holding it. He goes in after it though. Gets a hand pass into Cox. They never catch him once he gets away with it. He kicks it wide right up towards the half-forward line. Peter Carter over the back. Ducks back towards the boundary line. Grabbed there by Graham Schultz. He's almost caught. Gets in the hand pass. Straight to Toomey. Toomey. Oh, scrambly passage to play. In goes Carter again. Good play by Peter Carter as he kept that in, and on the left foot goes up towards the centre wing. Odd. Salmon came right over the top of Cox there, and Cox looked at him in disgust. Grabbed by Gary Shaw. This could be very costly for Essendon as Shaw kicks it down towards Russell. The ball is thumped away.
That's what he's got to
Good
do.
play by Anthony O'Brien as he attacked the ball and kicked it long. Up towards Donnell with great pace. Overran the ball in the finish. In goes Graham Allen. Onto the right foot. He goes for the little short one. He's got a loose man there too in Andrew Smith. He finds him. Andrew Smith gives it across to Noel Lovell, and Lovell is streaming in towards goal. He fires at the goals with the long drop punt. Beautiful football by Collingwood as Lovell puts it straight through the middle.
So Lovell kicks his first. Cooper has two, and Herbert one for Collingwood as they move to 4-2. Essendon 1 point.
Actually, it's really started, we see it on replay now, but it started long before this. The way that Alan Edwards ran at the ball, there was an Essendon player, Richardson, coming the other way, but he punched the ball away. And from that, Collingwood were inspired and went on, and they created a loose man and kicked a goal. Little things like that win games.
I reckon it even started further back when Salmon spoiled his own man going for that mark in Doug Cox. And Collingwood got the break as the kick comes right out towards centre wing. In they go after it, a one-out duel here. Chance now for the Bombers as Mark Thompson's got it. He goes wide with a little short pass. Finds Harvinson. Move Harvinson. Half-forward flank. They badly want a goal, the Bombers. He's gone for the short pass towards centre half-forward over the head of Davis. Gary Shaw pushed in the back and must receive a free kick on half-back flank. And Shaw already looking good in this game. He goes for the short pass towards centre wing, and he finds Noel Lovell. The Magpies looking real good as it over to Murray Brown. Too slow to get rid of it. Finally gets in the kick. Down towards half-forward. It's grabbed there by Sheldon. Sheldon goes for the short pass towards the centre of the ground. Oh, boy, that was a good, strong tackle, but coming away with it is Salmon. Oh, shocking kick by Salmon. Into Stoneham, though, it ends up with. Grabbed down there by Mark Thompson. Left foot. Looking up there for Donnell. Out comes Callaghan. Over the back is Craig Stewart, who kicks it wide towards the boundary line. And the ball finally rolls over the line and out of bounds.
We exasperate ourselves when they do things like that, Peter. But the thing is, the reason for it is the fact that Collingwood are tackling much harder than Essendon.
Yes, I agree with that, Don, as we see Callaghan doing the ruck work against Wiedemann. Donnell tries to get it down to the ground. Here's Peter Carter coming away with the football. Eustace behind the players coming back onto the ground. He was obviously winded before. It's on half-forward flank. In goes Ronnie Andrews after the football. Shrugs off the tackle, and the roars of the Essendon supporters as he gets it up towards half-back. And that for marking for Essendon is Chris Waterson. He kicks it towards centre half-forward. Ducking back was Brown. Oh, Donnell's covering a ton of territory up there with his great pace. Kelly, a long handball over to Andrew Smith. Now it's Graham Allen lining up the goals from centre half forward. It's floating in. It's a goal. Great goal to Graham Allen, and the Magpies are on fire.
Gubby Allen kicks his first, and Collingwood going from strength to strength as their confidence builds. 5-2, 32. The Bombers, one solid 3 point.
Actually, that was tremendous play. One handball, one long kick, and that's what football is all about today. It's very incestuous in as much as they handball, short kick. But that's the way it is. One handball, one long kick.
Centre bounce once again. Wiedemann up against Salmon. And by Wiedemann, they're taken out of the centre as Shaw gets a hurry kick. But a good mark taken by Thompson. Swings round onto the left foot. Looking for Callaghan on the half-forward line. One grab. He has support in the form of Frank Donnell. Chips it over his shoulder, but not far enough. And that tells the story of Essendon in this first 16 minutes. Out of bounds on the full.
Yes, Frank Donnell, as I said, he's got great pace at centre-half forward. He's covering a lot of territory. That occasion a poor kick, but I wouldn't be surprised next year if he developed into a very good half-back flanker. He's got the pace and the height. There, giving the hand pass over to Michael Thompson was Chris Waterson, and the umpire set a free kick, a nice tackle there, and that was by Brett Cooper, and he would be probably the best tackler in the Collingwood Football Club, first and seconds, as he gets it across to Andrew Smith. He kicks it high towards half-forward. Essendon players duck back. Out comes Teasdale. Taken away by Sheldon for Essendon. A nice tackle down there, though, and that was by Carl Herbert. It's in that half-back line area. Getting it out wide is Mark Thompson, looking for his teammate there in Waterson, but it beats him over the line and out of bounds. At the moment, the scoreboard showing the Magpies well in front. 5-2, 32, Essendon on one behind.
Almost 17 minutes of this first term gone. Salmon coming over the top. Waterson's short kick is a bad one. Straight to Gary Shaw. Came over here with a huge price tag on his head and a big reputation. Has had problems with injury. Herbert. Salmon. Trouble to Eustace, who's back on the ground after that heavy knock. Keeps the handball going. Now look at Doug Cox. He just tucks it under the arm and away he scoots. Normally a good pass, but that was a shocker. And Graham Allen takes it. 15 metres, so it brings him to centre wing. Andrew Smith. He's also had problems with injuries in the past 12 months or so, but is coming back. Stoneham and Kelly see it over the line.
Peter was mentioning earlier before, Sandy, about Salmon's disposal. Cox has his disposal is shocking. That is not the first time and not the first game that he's done that type of thing.
Edwards, but the free kick is going against Big Butch. Will go the way of Salmon. Over centre wing. Donnell uses the body. Wiedemann takes a good mark. Collingwood in control of the situation at the moment. Banks the target. And away he goes. No pressure put on him. Badly directed. It was Andrews who initially intercepted. Then Thompson got it across to Sheldon. Dummies the handball. Is he trying to do a little too much as Edwards gives chase, and well chased, but he couldn't quite get him. Callaghan beaten for it by Stewart, who's playing in front. Callaghan in over the top once again, and will get the free kick. Holding the ball. So Andrew Callaghan always puts the body well over the football, using the drop punt. Good looking kick off the boot, going across the face of goal. Donnell was there, unable to mark, and it goes over the line for another throw. Collingwood a 5-2, 32, Essendon one behind.
Forward pocket as we see Bettison against Wiedemann. Wiedemann over the back, got it down to the ground. Lovely hand pass comes out there to Murray Brown. Oh, good strong play on that half-forward line. Grabbed by Frank Donnelly. Fires at the goals from the boundary line. It was swinging back, but not enough. And the ball goes through for a behind. So the scoreboard moves just a little bit closer towards Collingwood. 5-2. Collingwood 2 points.
That act of Waterson when he ran in and got the ball, only got the point. It's an isolated incident, but Essendon need more of those actions.
Allen running the ball out of the trouble zone. Andrews would have almost been given the free kick. Belatedly he is now. And away scoots Ronnie. The long handball to Salmon. Big fella, not quick, but pretty versatile. Once again, Stewart playing in front of Callaghan.
Well, there's a height problem there too, so Callaghan must get in front. He's got no hope from behind against Stewart.
Well, his body, he's got a big body, Callaghan. It doesn't matter. He should be in front because he can use that big body.
Herbert into the centre. Lovell setting up the handball again. There's Peter Carter. Goes long. Salmon comes over the top to spoil and goes over the line.
Ronnie Andrews with those great big loping strides. His knees nearly touch his chin as he runs, Ronnie. And
actually, he was very lucky not to give away a free kick there.
Well, he'll appreciate playing on Alan Edwards because they've both had knee operations and they're both not over quick. Here's Brett Cooper, half-forward flank. Good tackle from behind by Thompson. Play on is grabbed by Kevin Morris. Onto the left foot he goes. Out wide. It's all Collingwood, though, at the moment as the kick favours Peter Carter. And he goes after it. Frank Donnell was there. Taken away by Steve Richardson. A lovely hand pass there across to his teammate Harbinson. Harbison's gone for the short one. Beautiful lead by Wayne Bettison. A lovely pass as we've seen Wayne Bettison line up for Essendon's first goal from 35 metres out directly in front. Bettison, who, well, certainly looks as though he's got a future in front of him as a forward. Let's see what he does with this one. He stabs at it. The goal umpire doesn't move, and that's the first on the board of the Bombers.
Just as these three atoms become one molecule, so these three paints becomes the one solution to all the interior painting needs. Why three? New vinyl for a great matte finish on walls. New satin is a semi-gloss, tough enough for windows and doors. And new gloss for a genuine full gloss. And of course, they all wash out in H2O, and marks just wipe off. British Paints, the perfect formula for all your interior painting. Trust British Paints? Sure can.
5-2 to 1-2 favouring Collingwood. Salmon trying to take it out of the centre. Harbison gets the handball away to Thompson. He's caught, looking for Stoneham, who dodged out of trouble but got caught on the second occasion. Not before he pushed it through to Donnell. Cleverly sockers it into the pocket. Here's a chance for another one on the board to Essendon through Richardson, and he's threaded it through. Two quick goals, and that's brought the Bomber fans to life.
Now, here's what I mean about an unselfish act. That was Donnell running at the ball. He didn't have to go down, but he just kicked the ball on. There's a tremendous tackle by Lovell. Now, here's their terrific play. That's unselfish play. It's not spectacular, but it ends up in goals, and that's what football's about.
Yes, I echo those feelings too, Don, because Frank Donnell...
You're a cave.
Well, I like Donnell. I reckon he's got a ton of pace and... unselfish and cleverly done with that little soccer kick across. Here's the ruck jewels again. Salmon starting to get on top. Stoneham gets in the hand pass. Shark though by Graham Allen. No one coming at him as he streaks down the ground. Goes for the long raking drop punt. Back goes Teasdale. He touched it. I reckon he could have shepherded that one through, I think, Don.
Yes, I think maybe so, but it's easier to, to sit up here and criticise as we have, or I've been doing. But compliments to young O'Brien, then he put himself in and back into Teasdale, and that upset him.
Here's Gary Sheldon from full back. Kicks it towards the half-back line. Oh, Lux of Fortune. Here's a chance for the Magpies. A hurried kick at the goals. Is that true? It is a goal kicked by Gary Shaw.
As you mentioned, Peter, Lux of Fortune, and that's just the luck of the game. We'll see here on replay, young Shaw in between no man's land with nobody really there. There he is, just kicked off the ground, no one around, and he kicks the goal. That's just unfortunate, and that's part of the game.
Almost 24 minutes gone. First term, 6-3 to 2-2. Collingwood answering the challenge.
Actually, I said unfortunate, Sandy. If Essendon were fair income, they would have had him picked up, so he shouldn't have been left unattended.
Wiedemann again running straight at Salmon, but it's the latter who won the tap out. No one able to take it out of the centre, so we'll see another bounce.
Yes, and that Gary Shaw has been in a lot of the play in this quarter, and let's hope he keeps up that form. The Magpies spent a lot of money on Gary Shaw, and I know that John Carl has got a very high opinion of Gary. He was unfortunate during this year with a stress fracture of his shin, and Collingwood badly need another rover to help out Tony Shaw. Centre of the ground, Wiedemann gets it down. It's taken away there by Lovell up towards half-forward. Brett Cooper is there for the Magpies. The umpire calls play on him. Goes Gary Shaw. Now it's Cooper in there again. He's a real terrier, Brett Cooper. Good tackle from behind by Sheldon. And that is holding the ball, said the umpire.
You called it then, Peter. Good tackle, and that's terrific tackle.
Gary Sheldon has played fairly well in the finals too for the Bombers. He finds Salmon out wide. Essendon already looking, bad play by Salmon as he kicks straight into Andrew Smith. Grabbed there by Dennis Banks. He gives a hand pass over to Carl Herbert. Herbert's gone the short pass to Teasdale. He ducks back and takes a lovely mark over the top of Anthony O'Brien. Teaser
Actually, it was a good mark, Penny. You can't criticise O'Brien there. He was in front. Well, there was a bit of an ankle tap. But when you're in front, you've got no excuse. Here we have an
interchange has been made. As I said, Sandy, before the game, Atkin is interchanging with Wiedemann from the bench, as we see. Graham Teasdale, normally a beautiful kick. He guides that one onto his foot, and he's put it through for goal number 7, in fact, for Collingwood. 7-3 to Essendon 2-2.
Putting energy to good use is very important, especially physical energy.
Been picked up out of the middle, though Tony Kelly's got away from Eustace. Atkin hurriedly, Andrews trying to pick it up on the half volley. Through comes Ronnie. Look out as Big Butch grabs him, but grabs him illegally.
He was very lucky. I would deem that as dropping the ball, wouldn't you?
I thought he was a bit lucky.
I would say very, very lucky.
Yes, but full marks. He came crashing through, Ronnie, and he doesn't take the backward step, as we see Stoneham kicking up towards half forward. Frank Donnell is there. He might get this one off the pack. No, it's grabbed by Morris, who fires at the goals, offline and out of bounds on the full. 7 goals, 3 the Magpies. Essendon on 2 goals, 2 have been playing 27 minutes into this first quarter.
Play on is the call as Carter gets it across to Brown. High to Stewart. It was a bad handball. Set him up and he lost it.
That's what Essendon have got to do more of, the way that they had Stewart thinking in just through tackling. And more Essendon players have got to commit themselves.
Into full forward. Waiting down Harvinson, in trouble. Gets a hurried kick and the diving attempt by Morris unsuccessful, as the umpire will come in and have a bounce. Umpires Carvine and Rich.
Essendon just starting to throw themselves in now. They're just starting to realise what finals football is all about, and there's a discrepancy of 31 points.
There's the ball up. Chance there for Waterson, but was smothered. Now Callaghan, oh, he had it and lost it. And again, the ball is held. Andrew Callaghan not impressed. Dumps Gary Shaw on the ground, and we'll see yet another ball. But the opportunity is there for Essendon. Only 20 metres out from their scoring zone. Bettison plucks it out of the air, but is tackled solidly. Atkin waits, and away comes the big fella. Onto the left foot. Over the centre he goes. The target was Cooper. He's got support in the form of Banks. The experience, too, of Banks, as he quickly puts boot to ball. Down towards the half-forward line. 52 for Essendon is Sean Duncan to Ronnie Andrews. Ronnie goes short, steadies things down.
Well done, Sean Duncan.
He's a good player.
Yes, received it, ran the triangle. Donnell over the top. Allen out wide. Richardson is there, so too is Cox, and it is the latter who picks it up. Away goes Douglas. Look at him run. This time he goes longer, looking for Callaghan. Came off his head. Eustace shrugs one tackle and gets the handball to Stoner. Bad though, because it was at his ankles. He may get out of trouble by going out the back door. They're frittering chances here. Eustace picks it up and the siren beats them. So at a quarter time, Collingwood in a very handy position, leading 7-3, 45 to Essendon, 2-2, 14.
After a hard day's work, nothing beats a long, cold Carlton draft. And he'll tell you he likes the kind of life he leads, and he's glad that he was born. And he likes the taste of real draft beer when his time is on. And this man earns his pay twice over by putting first things first. There's nothing like a long cold beer to satisfy at last. If you want the taste of real draft beer, only Carlton Draft will do. When the taste you want or the taste you get is the taste that's right for you. 'Cause it's brewed with care and mellowed so, and the flavor's there, and don't you know, there's nothing beats a long cold Carlton Draft.
Here's some news for all the crew, Red Roosters.
Reserve Cup Grand Final, Collingwood 7-3, 45, leading Essendon 2-2, 14 goal scorers for Collingwood. Brett Cooper 2 and singles to Gary Shaw, Noel Lovell, Graham Teasdale, Graham Allen and Carl Herbert, while for Essendon their 2 goal scorers Wayne Bettison and Steve Richardson. Well, no great wind advantage kicking to the end that Collingwood did in the first term. So, Don, what can the Bombers do to get back into this game in the second quarter?
Well, I think they've left it a little bit too late. I mentioned they're 31 points behind, and it took them a deficit of 31 points, 16 to 45, to realise that what it was all about. And that's where it started from. And admittedly, the Collingwood players, you see them there on screen, have got a lot of experience, and they know what it's about because they've had senior experience. Whether they go on and play senior football is another matter. But the younger Essendon fellows, they've got to learn, and they're going to learn the hard way and realise that you might only get one opportunity in the grand final, and that may be theirs today, and their actions are fairly insipid at the moment.
There's Lee Adamson. Lee Adamson was a very good halfback flank, and on the Sevens marathon of football, I saw him in the 1966 grand final this morning, Sandy, and he was one of Collingwood's better players on the halfback flank. And Lee's making a name for himself as a coach. In fact, he coached Montmorency to a premiership up in the Diamond Valley before he came down to Collingwood.
Well, 1966, a bit of a disappointing year for the Woods, nevertheless.
You have to bring that up again.
There's a shot from a helicopter, and well, what a magnificent sight it is. There's almost actually a tinge of sadness today because by all intents and purposes this will be the last grand final played at the MCG. With,
well, that is a real, that's a real sorry situation, isn't it, really? Because that's really the end of an era in football, and
it's a magnificent arena. In fact, we're lucky in Melbourne to have 2 such great stadiums as this one, and of course VFL Park. There's Kevin Morris, I mentioned Lee Adamson a moment ago. Kevin, of course, captain coach of the Essendon Army Reserve team, and what a great player he was for many years on the half-back line and as a ruck rover for Richmond. And then later on with the Collingwood side, he's over there giving a few words of advice to young Paul Salmon. Tony Beers, number 39 on the left of screen. Well, Essendon, Don, badly need a couple of quick goals early in this quarter to get themselves back into it.
They've just got to realise what football's about, Peter.
Right, here we go into the second term, and let's see if the Bombers can regroup as the clouds have disappeared. And it looks a magnificent day. Salmon won it, but it was Andrew Smith, the first effective kick. Butch Edwards knocks it out wide towards Kelly. Andrews giving chase, but Kelly too much pace. Towards Teasdale, jostling with the one arm. Can't complete it, but he's going to get the free kick. Held with the other arm.
Well, it's very hard. I think in those situations, that's when an umpire really doesn't know what it's all about. They give those free kicks at boundary throw-ins, and we saw it there. And a 6 of one and a half does of another when a player grapples like that. They should just call play on.
There's the kick from Teasdale, and the Woods are off to a great start in the second term. Their 8th goal goes on the board. Teasdale kicks his second, and Collingwood 8-3-51, leading Essendon 2-2-14.
But those mistakes then are costly, and O'Brien again should have been in front.
Well, let's have a look at that one on replay, Don. They have a good close look. They're wrestling, jostling.
So there's one.
Both doing it.
They were both doing it. That's exactly right. And, oh well. Centre
of the ground. Kevin Morris, taken away by Gary Shaw. Good strong play. It's grabbed there for Essendon by Waterson. Down towards the half-forward line. Graham Allen juggling the mark over the back, and the umpire is going to pay it too. Out wide he goes towards centre. We got a nice mark out there to Tony Kelly. Kick comes down towards Banks. Banks drops the sitter. Play on now, said the umpire. It's on that half-forward line for Collingwood. A hand pass comes out wide. It's grabbed by Shaw, who's playing well. Gary Shaw on the left foot up towards full forward. Russell overran the ball. Over the back is Duncan. And Sean Duncan doing a pretty good job on Tony Russell today too.
He hasn't been an outstanding player, but the little things that he does, I realise his age is 23, that may be against him. But he has really got a football brain over the last couple of weeks, just the little tiny things that he has done.
There's a bit of the ruck worker, Graham Teasdale, showing out there. Kevin Morris could have got a free kick there. And
actually, it was good play by Kevin Morris. I don't suppose we get that on replay, but he really threw himself across the boot of Brett Cooper then, and that was gutsy play.
Well, there he is, the captain coach of the Bombers, down towards Donnell. Over the back of the pack is Graham Allen. He goes for the hand pass and finds big Stuart Acton. Back to Graham Allen. Hand pass to Gary Shaw, who's looking dangerous. Tackled very, very quickly, though, as Kevin Morris crashes his way through. That could be a free kick to Essendon, and it is, and it will go to the Essendon player in Chris Waterson. He's at centre-half back. Now he's going to elect to go, well, towards centre wing area. Atkin from behind punches the ball away when he couldn't take the mark. Oh, a bit of a stage error.
It was too.
Gary Sheldon, he made sure he got it. I didn't think there was a free kick there, but he hooks it towards centre-half forward. Donnell is caught behind. Over the back of the pack, here's a chance for the Bombers. A lovely hand pass to Steve Richardson. Into the open goal he goes, and he puts it straight through. Great play by Merv Harbinson.
Centre bounce once again, won by Salmon. Lovell in trouble and then out of trouble with the left foot kick towards the half-forward line. Cooper tried to sweep it on. Edwards gets a bad bounce, goes in after it once again. Andrews comes in over the top, but the umpire decides on a bounce. 31 points, the margin. As the Bombers making an interchange. McDavis will be coming back onto the ground. Andrews.
Mark Eustace off, and I don't think he's too
Not
good.
right after that knock.
No way. He hasn't been in the play at all.
He got it early on and has never really recovered. Atkin going short.
You stand up, you're all right.
Lovell. To the half-forward line. Out comes Edwards and Andrews. And it's the latter who pushes it towards the boundary line for his running players. Finding Sheldon. Short he goes. Stoneham. Well, he was looking to play on.
Was he ever?
Yes,
he wanted to get that hand pass in desperately.
Sheldon was just...
and he ended up conning at 15 metres.
A little too quick. There's the kick. The full forward. And a good mark taken by Atkin. The long handball out in front of Kelly. Away he goes. Getting away from Stoneham. Oh, he's lost it from his head.
Well done, Stoneham.
It went to the ground. And we'll see it.
That was good play. Just the mere fact that he laid a hand on him upset that player. Had he not done that, they could have broken away and kicked a goal. But that was very, very good stuff, Alan Stoneham.
For those people that may have just joined our telecast, Ron Andrews playing in the reserves. So too Frank Donnell. So it looks as though Izzard, Copping and Clayton could well be playing in the seniors if...
Maybe Brian will not play, because that's three interchange players. A great mark taken there by Frank Donnell in the meantime. About 30 metres out from goal, directly in front. He's playing pretty well at centre-half forward as we have a look at this one again on replay.
It was a good mark, Peter. You see, just in front, he ran at the ball. And it was well done by Bettison. He held his ground and just upset the Collingwood players coming from behind. So that was good play.
Well, they're starting to look better at the moment, the Bombers, as Frank Donnell lines up yet to score a goal directly in front. Oh, he's chipped this one very, very high, but he's kicked it straight through the centre, and the Bombers are heading back. That takes them on to 4-2, trailing Collingwood 8-3.
We'll see here on replay. Just have a look at Wayne Bettison, who's just there jostling. Just the mere fact that he put his body and stopped Scott Knight and also his opponent to get the Frank Donnell, and they reap the reward then of Frank Donnell goal.
Centre bounce once again. 8-3 to 4-2, I think it should be now. Atkin wins it, but straight to Davis. Loses it. Beautifully taken away by Lovell. Can set the handball up. He does so. This could be the quick reply. Kelly across to Edwards. He can tap it forward. No, he receives it again, but his kick is smothered. And we'll see a ball.
Actually, that's why Ron Andrews is not in that. Yes, but look at what was Edwards doing. Alan Edwards was running down into the forward line. Where was Ron Andrews? Back at the centre. He can't keep up, Andrews.
There it is. Taken away by Thompson. Gathering a great deal of distance, but through handball they'll get out of trouble. Andrews. The Essendon fans giving him a nice old cheer. It went straight down the throat of Stuart Atkin, however. He'll get the free kick for a tackle too high. In fact, the umpire calls play on. Sensibly so, they were in possession. Edwards in front. Salmon waiting down. The little fella, only 6'9". Thompson trying to intercept. 52 is Duncan. But Herbert. Short to the half-forward line. Cooper up over the top. Lovell runs straight into trouble. Morris, in a vain attempt to get it away, soccers it off the ground towards the wing position. And the big fella Atkin is left to take it out. He does so as he gets it across to Smith. Smith up towards Teasdale, but Andrews backing into the pack.
He's playing well, Sandy.
Who?
Ronnie Andrews. The man on him hasn't done anything, and I think he's played a good game. Ronnie Andrews gone.
Stoneham. Richardson beautifully out of trouble to the half-forward line. Carter. This could be dangerous because Donnell is there and he'll go. Pace.
On current card rates, you can rent Touch or Class. Even Budget's executive fleet drives your dollar further.
Centre bounce once again. Can the Bombers come back? Harbinson caught. Trying to take it out was Lovell across to Shaw. Tapped onto Banks. Gets away. Oh, it's a bad handball towards Cooper. Thompson is there for Essendon. Gets one too high, although he did duck. And so the umpire called play on.
Oh, don't.
Andrews over the top as Don Scott has a seizure. Still going, Ronnie. What's happened now? Behind the play, it looks as though it will be an Essendon free kick. It will. Sheldon in the back pocket. Davis saying, go over my head. Towards Stoneham. And Harbinson is there too. Tackles Carter. He thought he'd get the free kick. Didn't happen like that, and he's gone for holding the ball.
The umpires are really letting it go now. Andrews should have been penalised down there. There was a free kick earlier. I think they've forgotten the whistle.
To the half-forward line. Allen, trouble picking it up. And Donnell pushes it over the line for another throw.
Well, they're a different side in this quarter. You picked it really, Don, towards the end of the first quarter. You could see them more desperate, and they're playing much better football at the moment as Don gets a clap from Sandy Roberts for picking that change of style of play up towards centre wing. It goes, punched away. Over the back is Banks. He couldn't get away with Stoneham doing a good job. Over to Ronnie Andrews. He's gone towards half-forward. Is there anyone there? Murray Brown taken away by Kevin Morris into the open goal. He steps it low, and Kevin Morris has put it through, and the Bombers are hitting back.
First goal to Kevin Morris.
Isn't it amazing when they say luck's running your way, but you make the play, and Essendon is starting to make the play. It started off by them running the triangle earlier in the first quarter, and now they're capitalising.
What triangle was that?
Well, I don't know, but Sandy used it.
The Bermuda triangle.
Let's see if they can continue on the comeback trial. Back for the centre bounce once again. 8-3 to 6-2, favouring the Woods.
We've got a real game now, Sandy.
13 points the margin. Salmon gets the handball away to Harbinson. The long punt down towards full forward. The bounce. One behind.
I think Collingwood want to make a change. They want to bring Wiedemann on the ground now because that's where it's starting. Although Atkins getting a few hit outs, and I think the aggression of Wiedemann is necessary.
Back into play once again. Davis. No one went with him, and he's got pace, this boy. Steadies, shoots towards goal, and has put it through, and here come the Bombers.
Unbelievable. You named it then, Sandy. He has got pace. Edwards is going off the ground as he's being changed by interchange with Fife. There we see Davis in position there, number 41, and he has got pace because he should kick it with his right foot, but he's got so much pace that he can get back onto his left foot.
And I hope you realise that Ron Andrews' opponent was just taken off the ground, Don, after I said that Ron Andrews was playing well.
Centre bounce once again. Salmon beaten for it by Atkin. Fife trying to get into the action. Banks weaving and dodging. Pushes the ball out in front of Lovell. If it sits, he could be in business. Cox is giving chase, but Lovell maintains possession. Back again to Banks. Short to the half-forward line. Shaw is there.
Good mark.
And a chance to steady. 25 metres out. Almost directly in front. Collingwood leading by just 6 points. After the Bombers have piled on 5 goals this term. The kick by Shaw is off target and one behind only. So, opportunities going begging there for Collingwood. 8-4 to 7-3, a margin of 7 points.
And boy, those kicks make a heck of a difference in a grand final. Michael Thompson's been a fairly quiet player today, in fact. He goes for the short one. He's got the loose man there in Graham Schultz. We haven't seen much of Graham today. He hooks it wide. Atkin ducks back for Collingwood. A nice mark to Stuart Atkin on centre wing. Goes for the hand pass to Tony Beers. He comes through the centre of the ground and goes for home with a long raking drop punt up to Teasdale. And Teasdale takes a good strong mark in front of Anthony O'Brien, 20 metres out directly in front.
But that started further up the ground. There was Stoneham and Halverson who really didn't go against Aitken. Aitken got the ball across to Beers, who then shot it down long. And it didn't start with Anthony O'Brien that time. It started further up the ground. But O'Brien still, he should have been in front.
The kick from Teasdale, the drop punt. That's a disgraceful 1 point only, and 2 set shots they've had at goal, and neither have been able to capitalise.
Well, they are very costly. You mustn't miss them from there. Well, the odd one, but that's 2 in a row, and that's not good. As we see Andrews kicking out. Now, maybe Andrews is now playing a fullback on Teasdale. They might have made the switch. Let's just wait and see. No, O'Brien's going back there, so Andrews obviously just taking the kick out. Here's Salmon, half-back flank. Paul Salmon has played a very good quarter for Essendon. He's kicking his only problem. This time it's not a bad one though. Up towards half forward, nearly a mark for Frank Donnell. Play on, said the umpire. Michael Thompson tried to get in the hand pass. Players dive on top of the ball. Tony Beers is there against Alan Stoneham as they get themselves up off the ground, and the bounce will take place. Scoreboard showing 7-3 to 8-5. Wiedemann warming up on the boundary line, about to come back in. Carl Herbert gets it down towards the half-forward line. Out goes Brett Cooper. It's taken away by Mark Thompson. Here's a chance now over to Michael Thompson. Thompson onto the left foot's gone short, and it's a lovely pass. Beautiful football as Bettison had made the lead. Now he's got an open goal square if he wants to kick it quickly. He elects to go back and take his time, Wayne Bettison. He's kicked 1 already for the Bombers. Normally a very good kick, favouring the drop punt. Let's see what he can do with this one as he lines it up. Oh, it's going, is it swinging a little bit too far, I think, and through for 1 behind. So scoreboard shows Essendon on 7-4 and Collingwood 8-5.
So back into play once again. And a good mark taken by Cox.
They've made a switch, Collingwood. They've put Andrews onto Teasdale, O'Brien to centre half back.
Doug Cox. Special comments coming from Don Scott as Cox goes long with a drop punt. In towards Bettison. Flew tried to take it on the chest but was unable to do so. Stoneham tried to stand his ground, but Collingwood will get out of trouble as it's pushed back to short.
Well done.
Drops a sitter. Davis is there. He couldn't handle it and eventually comes off the boot and over the line for another
The pressure is really on these players. This is developing into a real good game. Just the way that Shaw fumbled the ball in. He should have taken that mark. But Essendon are really starting to apply the pressure now. Good stuff.
Here's the throw in again. Callahan has come across to do the ruck work. Not enough height for Atkin as Toomey's kick. We're at centre wing with Doug Cox. Turned the other way on that occasion. Has put the ball out wide for Richardson, who could run on. Puts it out for Morris. Uses the body well but can't complete the mark. Callahan has got to go in and give him support. Goes in there now, but he's caught by Stewart. Has the ball held, and we'll see another bounce.
Right in that forward pocket area, Kevin Morris, a real big chance then to take a mark. It's punched away from Atkin, grabbed by Morris. He snaps at the goals, but he puts it over the line and out of bounds on the full. So Collingwood struggling hard to hold the Bombers out at the moment. 8-5 to 7-4. 7 points the difference, but a really big comeback in this quarter. Interchange being made, and Tony Russell is coming off the ground, and Wiedemann is coming on in place of him. And Sean Duncan has been well on top of Russell down in that.
Do you think that's a good move, Peter, taking Russell off?
Well, I do think it's a good move because he's not playing well. And of course, Russell Dixon, in fact, it's not Wiedemann coming on. It's Russell Dixon coming down to the forward pocket as that a nice mark was taken down there for the Bombers by Chris Waterson. Now, Waterson is 35 metres out. If he kicks this one, Essendon will be 1 point behind. There's the drop punt. He stabs at it. Oh, I think he's kicked it across the face slightly. He has. So that makes the difference 1 goal.
He hasn't. He's coming under notice, as far as I'm concerned, Chris Waterson, for his little things in the game that he's doing. And he's not spectacular, but he's really doing the team-orientated things. And Essendon should get more players like Chris Waterson playing.
Craig Stewart. plays on from fullback. He's looking out there for Stuart Acton. Over the back of the pack is Davis. Davis goes for the hand pass, looking there for Harbinson. Oh, he's got it too. Crashes his way through the pack. Was that too high, said the umpire. Too high. So that's a free kick to Harbinson if he can go from there, and it would take a... Let's have a look at this one as he tries to crash his way through.
He had the opportunity to get rid of the ball. But he also got an elbow in the throat, I think.
Yes, and here he is, Merv Harbinson, the ex-Coburg VFA player. Could possibly make the distance, but it'd be a pretty good kick. If he does happen to kick the goal, the scores will be dead set level. Let's see what he does with this one. The drop punt he's going for. He kicks it high. It's swinging into the goal square. Up goes the pack. Punched away. Chance now for Stoneham, but it beats him over the line and out of bounds. David Toomey gets himself up from the ground and goes back to look for his opponent right in that forward pocket area. 8-5 Collingwood, Essendon on 7-5. Callaghan, the full forward, doing the ruck work, gets it down, grabbed by Tony Beers, over to Graham Allen, and Allen brings it out of defence. It's a high one up towards Russell Dixon. Duncan from behind doing a great defensive job. Grabbed by Steve Richardson. Over it goes to Anthony O'Brien. Probably appreciated out at centre half back. Oh, nearly a mark to Bettison. Alan Stoneham goes back in after the ball, still playing the football in front of him. Gives in the hand pass to Davis. Out wide to Sheldon. Sheldon punches it on in front of him. Gets pushed in the back. Grabbed by Donnell. He runs into 4 Collingwood players. It's on that half-back line as Murray Brown grabs it, kicks it hurriedly up towards the half-back line where it's grabbed by Atkin. Atkin, after taking this mark, kicks it to half-forward. Dixon's against 2 Essendon players. Oh, a great mark. Russell Dixon,
that was a great
in front
mark.
of Doug Cox, has taken a screamer. Now, let's have a look. Watch him. Oh, good mark to Russell Dixon as he kicks to full forward. Oh, Ronnie Andrews, good, strong play by Andrews. Out come the Bombers again on the left foot. The kick comes down towards centre wing. That was from Graham Schultz. Oh, it's grabbed there by Big Salmon. He ducks away and hooks it back towards half forward. Here's a chance for the Bombers, but it's grabbed by Graham Allen on centre wing. He kicks it towards half forward, straight to an Essendon player, and that is Mark Thompson.
Thompson on the defensive side. The centre goes to the wing now and finds Richardson, who dummies well. Has plenty of time to have a look towards Stoneham on the half-forward line, who just brings it down with a one hand. Too far out to score. He's going short and safely to Harbinson. So Merv Harbinson now.
This is the type of game that Essendon are noted for. This is the difference between the two sides. The way you've got to contain Essendon is the way Collingwood did initially. Run hard at the ball and tackle them and harass them. Then they can't get their skill into operation.
Almost within the scoring distance, Harbinson. This ground looking an absolute picture. The drop punt looks good off the boot. It is good, and scores are level at the MCG.
Inside the wheels of your car, your brake...
Entering time on as from the centre bounce. It's Essendon down towards their half-forward line once again. Waterson through without the football. Picked up by Allen. A high kick in towards the middle. Salmon's underneath it. He's buffeted out. And illegally, said the umpire. So he'll take the free kick. The big fella said to have a great future with the Bombers. Medicine gives the lead. It's just a fraction too high. Tackle too high is missed. The second one is not. Lovell from the half-back flank. Drifting play in towards the centre. And a good mark taken by Banks. Stoneham saying there's no way known you're going to run on, even if it costs me 15 metres. And it will. The kick from Banks. Dropping short. And another good mark taken by the big fella Salmon. This time showing he can go with the left foot to the outer side. Finding Sheldon. Sheldon also a left footer as Thompson further afield. Very casual and in trouble. Caught. Holding the ball.
Decision.
Bad play by Thompson and Noel, the recipient.
That's unbelievable to go one hand in a grand final like that. He deserves it to be taken off and taken off the ground.
Cooper over the top was the flyer. Smith well tackled. Paddled forward. Thrown out towards Brett Cooper, who appreciated it. His good smother, however, and O'Brien sees it over the line for yet another throw-in.
This is the frustrating thing about football. You see Thompson do that act, yet you see O'Brien really forsake himself and smother the ball. It's a pity that all the players couldn't have the one's thought in mind.
Banks.
In front of the Melbourne members stand. We've been playing nearly 23.5 minutes into the second quarter, and a tremendous fight back by the Bombers. Salmon has taken over in the ruck. Cox was there. Davis. Kelly for Collingwood gets in the hand pass, but it's taken away there by Mark Thompson. Onto the left foot he goes, down towards centre wing. Oh, good mark, good strong mark by Steve Richardson. A long hand pass out the centre wing. It's taken away by Michael Davis. He goes for the long left footer up to Kevin Morris. Oh, he's dropped the sitter, Kevin Morris. In goes Graham Allen straight to the boundary line. And Essendon supporters appealing for deliberate there, but the umpire giving Graham Allen the benefit of the doubt. There's a time clock, you can see 24 minutes gone in this second quarter. In that forward pocket area, as we see Donnell doing the ruck work to Morris. The ball is smothered, grabbed by Gary Shaw. A beautiful tackle that was too. Oh, could have been in the back. Now it's grabbed there for the Essendon side by Waterson. He fires high at the goals. He's kicked it, and the Bombers hit the front.
When you got Levi's, the legend you know, from the patch in your hip to the boots in your toes. Levi's, you got a legend. When you got Levi's, you got a legend. When you got Levi's.
Now, Sheen make high-precision videotapes. Great picture, great colour. Insist on Sheen high-precision videotape. The America's Cup. The decider. Live from Newport, Rhode Island. 1 a.m. Sunday on 7.
The Bombers have turned a 31-point deficit into a 6-point lead as we enter time on in the second term. Now Collingwood have the pressure on them. Andrews and Sheldon combining on the last line of defence. Sheldon going right across the face of goal, dangerously so, and it may not come off. Duncan in trouble and over the line.
Oh, unlucky not to get a free kick there too, young Duncan. Sean Duncan's been a tremendous player. He, as Don said, not the spectacular things, but all the hard things and good team-orientated things he is doing. There's Anthony O'Brien, who seems to be going better out at centre-half back. Lovely hand pass out wide there towards Harbinson. Harbinson running down the ground, gives it to Kevin Morris. He punches the ball on in front of him and then was grabbed. Very clever football by Kevin Morris. Intelligent play by the captain coach on centre wing, and the Bombers, if they could get another one before half-time, would be very, very difficult to catch in this match, I would think. There's the kick, a nice long kick too, and looking up there for Bettison. Over the back of the packet goes. Good strong play by the Collingwood defence, but here's danger as Michael Davis goes in after it, but the ball beats him over the line and out of bounds.
So a throw in their left forward pocket. Just over a minute of time on played. Great fight back by the Bombers. I wonder if this is shades of things to come. Who knows? We'll see all the action on the 7 network at associated stations throughout the day as Waterson gets a high kick down towards full forward. At the back, Callahan.
Was a mark. No doubt that was a mark.
Too much strength.
You see Callahan just behind him. He brought the ball down. Yes, I'd pay that as a mark.
So Andrew Callahan, a chance to give the Bombers a 12-point break. What a fine performance it's been by Kevin Morris in particular to get this side going. He's done it. 12 points the margin favouring Essendon. 10-5 to 8-5 on the 7 scoreboard.
And there's Andrew Callahan, and he certainly is a big build. Not a tall guy, would be just about 6 foot, I would think, 5'11 and a half.
Yeah, he shouldn't get carried away with that mark because Stewart did the right thing, played him in front. It was only just judgment and maybe a bit of luck that Callahan took that mark, but he is playing from behind far too much. He should be in front.
2 goals the difference, as you can see on the screen there. 10-5 to 8-5, and a tremendous fight back by Essendon, as we said, and the Magpies have stopped at the moment. Here comes Graham Schultz. Well, grabbed there again by Waterson, down towards the half-forward line. A one-out duel. Callahan copped one high too. Grabbed by Graham Allen on the right foot, went across the face of goal and straight into the hands of Steve Richardson, Essendon forward, who has already kicked 2 goals. And well, let's see what he does with this one. A 3-goal break to the Bombers if he can kick it. Oh, he didn't take much time, but it still swung back. He allowed for the breeze, and the Bombers 3 goals in front of Collingwood. They move on to 11-5, 71. Collingwood 8-5, 53.
So Richardson kicks his third goal. And 2 this term for Steve Richardson and 1 in the first.
And Essendon for the quarter, Sandy, have kicked.
Well, they've had a boom quarter. They've kicked 9 goals to this stage. As we go back for the centre bounce once again. Collingwood will be waiting for that siren to see if it can stop the Essendon run in the third term.
Salmon's taken over in the ruck, Doc.
No, well, it's not the case of Salmon taking over in the ruck. It's the fact that, you know, they shouldn't have left Wiedemann off the ground. He's gained confidence because he was against Aiken. They should have left Aiken off the ground and left Wiedemann on. And that's the real, I'm sorry.
Yes,
he has taken over,
but
yes, because of those reasons.
Wiedemann not being on.
It's bad coaching.
Stoneham. Oh, here's a chance for Schultz. A shot at goal. Going across the face of goal, right across the face of goal, in fact, and registering 1 point. There's another player that's come back after injury, 11-6 to 8-5. Collingwood this term have managed only 1 goal, 2. Back into play, and the mark taken by Peter Carter.
Scott Knight.
Scott Knight, yes. They both look alike with their dark, short, cropped hair. Over the centre. Collingwood facing fierce tackling now, and Thompson was the player there.
He's been tackling well right throughout the game, Thompson, Don. I think he's a better player down on the back line. That's his rightful position, I think.
There's his kick to half forward. Waiting down, Murray Brown. Cooper. Just a fraction too high for him. Shaw looked for the free kick and got it.
Made sure he got that one, didn't he?
Sure did. The kick from Gary Shaw. Good looking kick too. Teasdale and Andrews. The ladder punches away well. There's the siren. And it's half-time in the Army Reserve Cup Grand Final. The first quarter belonged to Collingwood. The second, no doubt, to Essendon. At half-time, the Bombers go into the break, leading 11-6, 72. Collingwood, 8-5, 53. And the scoreboard telling the sorry tale for Collingwood in the second term. They could kick only 1 goal, 2, but the Bombers coming back. And coming back so strongly, booting 9 goals, 4. So at half-time, Essendon 11-6, 72, leading Collingwood 8-5, 53. And now the pressure is right on the Collingwood side, this star-studded side, to see if it can come back in the third quarter. Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. We've got Max Stevens up in our Channel 7 newsroom helicopter, hovering over the MCG and the locale just around it. Max, what's the situation like from the air?
Thanks once again, Sandy. Well, after waking up this morning and seeing the clouds and the rain, it's very, very pleasant indeed to see a sunny Melbourne. Over the sun is shining right over the MCG. A little bit of cloud to the west, but it's rather high, so I don't think that'll affect us whatsoever this afternoon. Having a look at the traffic situation around the MCG, and again, it is very, very light indeed. The Southeastern Freeway, Wellington Parade, Wellington South Road and Swan Street, Punt Road, all very, very good. Car parks around the MCG at this stage are starting to fill up quite quickly, and my advice would be to park around the Bridge Road area, and over at Olympic Park there's still quite a few vacancies there for cars. At this point of time, we'll take you back to Sandy Roberts at the MCG.
Thank you, Max, and I think the answer there as far as transport is concerned is possibly public transport. If you're coming to the game this afternoon, then public transport would be no doubt your best bet. But a great scene, and there's always something magical about a grand final day. It is, after all, that one day in September.
Well, you put a lot in and you worked real hard. There were days when you tried, there were days when you start trying to please the crowd when they're unforgiving. There are easier ways to make a living. Well, we've come a long way since the start of things, when we've seen the joy that hard work brings. You've made us cry and you've made us smile. You've hit the front, now it's all worthwhile. 'Cause there's one day in September we want to remember. There isn't any doubting we'll be in there shouting. Football's such a part of this whole town, and we know
Yes, there's no doubt about it. That one day in September, and as I said before, Don, there is something special, isn't there, about
it's a magic day, and I suppose it's only memories you take away from grand finals. But I was sorry you mentioned it. I really didn't realise it. It's probably my ignorance. This could be the last grand final here, and really, this, I suppose, Peter, to a lesser degree, but this ground, and to play in front of a crowd such as this, it's just fantastic, and it's a memory, and it's something you really can't describe. And I will, be very sorry that the grand final will be moved from this ground, because it's just a magic feeling, an electric feeling.
Hold on, let's get back to the game at hand. We can see part of the huge crowd here, and incidentally, the Geelong Mini League side are just doing their lap of honour. We might be able to see them, but we'll take a break in the meantime and come back and perhaps ask you for your thoughts here, don't we, Don?
It's terrific. It's terrific, and it's what grand finals are made of. And the stakes out there, it's a pity the Essendon boys didn't realise earlier they could have been further in front. You've got to give it to Collingwood, because they really did take advantage. A lot of the senior players knew what it was about, but Collingwood now are being undone by the skill factor, and it's a contrast, and it's a game of contrast. You've got Essendon play the one type of football, Collingwood play a different type of game, and it's interesting to see who is going to come out on top.
All right, gentlemen. Pete, I think we might go into some highlights of that first half. There certainly were many of those.
Well, there certainly were, Sandy, and there's Gary Shaw, who played fairly well in the first half too, had a number of possessions. This is Brett Cooper grabbing the ball on half forward. He read that beautifully and kept that ball low and put it through, and Brett was a great player in the first quarter, a little bit quiet in that second quarter, as were a lot of the Collingwood players. And this was good players. Lovell brought that ball right down the ground, went for the long drop punt and put it through from the half forward line. That was team inspiring stuff at that stage, and Collingwood were on fire. There's Tony Kelly giving in a nice hand pass to Andrew Smith, over to Graham Allen, and Graham Allen from centre half forward straightens up, and the ball floats through for another good goal to the Magpies. This is during the first quarter, of course, of the game. That's Michael Thompson, almost been caught with the ball there. He got it over to Stoneham. Stoneham was tackled, got it down there towards Donnell, and Donnell unselfishly kicked it off the ground to the claps of Don Scott at that particular stage, to Steve Richardson, who put it through for a very good goal to the Bombers. And here they come again, Collingwood, this time through Gary Shaw, who he got an indiscriminate kick there, took the mark, lined up the goals and put it through. As I said, Gary Shaw has been a pretty good player. This is Sheldon on the left foot, getting it down towards half forward. It came over the back of the pack, a long hand pass. It came there from Waterson to Steve Richardson again, and once again he stabbed it straight through the middle, and Richardson in that half kicked 3 goals for the Bombers. Now, here they come again. That's Mark Thompson, who's done some nice heavy work on the back line. Steve Richardson again crashes his way through the pack, down towards half forward, is punched away by Peter Carter. Now, what's the pace here of Danella over the back of the pack as he sprinted to the line and put it through, and you can see the excitement on his face there, and he certainly has got great pace. Here's the hero of the crowd, Ronnie Andrews, as he gets it down towards half forward. Morris cleverly sprints away from the pack, stabs it low and puts another one through for the Bombers. And at this stage, Essendon were right on fire and getting right on top of Collingwood. There's Stoneham being tackled. The ball was knocked out of his hands to Waterson, who's been a star in this first half. Stabbed it at the goals very quickly and put it through for another one to the Bombers.
Interesting point, gentlemen. 16 of the 19 goals scored have all come from that end. Does that tell us anything?
Yes, and no doubt they were kicking, even in the under-19s, they were kicking at least 20 metres further to that end of the ground. And certainly as normally at the MCG, as Don would tell you, Sandy, the wind does swirl around, but it's definitely favouring the end. That's the Richmond, the punt road end of the ground. And as you said, that's where most of the play has been.
All right, gentlemen. Well, Stephen Phillips, as we've seen earlier on in our telecast, is out and about. And Steve has just made his way down to the Jolimont station. So I think we might go down there now, because that's where so many thousands of people are going to be making their way from to this magnificent grand final. Here's Stephen at the Jolimont station.
Are up around the $350 mark. That is, if you can find a scalper. The weather, one moment beautiful, the next moment drizzling rain, but that's Melbourne. Souvenir sellers have been doing a roaring trade in both brown and gold colours and red and black colours. But the red and black colours of Essendon seem to predominate. Their massive membership drive has turned out in full as the Bombers aim for their first grand final since 1965. And still the trains keep rolling in. The people will keep packing into this ground until the game starts somewhere after 2:30. But as I said, promises to be a great game of football, a real classic grand final encounter between two of the hardest, toughest teams in the competition.
Stephen Phillips there at the overpass just near the Juliamont station. Didn't look as though it was a great hive of activity at the moment, but I'm sure, gentlemen, it will be in the next hour or so. We'll take a break, and it won't be long before the players are out on the ground to commence the third term of the Army Reserve Cup Grand Final.
Who's got the jump on its rivals in wagons? Holden. Because only Holden brings you Chimera Super Wagon, Australia's most advanced medium car that outclasses all the other fours in technology, performance and interior load space. Commodore, Australia's most space-efficient big wagon, offers full family-sized room with your choice of either a high-performing 6 or potent V8. And now, Holden brings you a whole new way of getting togetherness. Shuttle LT. This new extra-large family wagon gets it together in all the ways that really count. There's never been a wagon lineup like this before. Medium, large with 6-cylinder, or V8 power. And now, extra large. And only Holden brings it to you.
Well, hello and good day, nice to see you this way. At Food Plus, your store next door. We got food plus eggs plus bread plus vegetables, toothpaste and flavored milk, margarine, beauty cream, magazine, so pick it up from your Food Plus. You need your Food Plus, Food Plus, your store next door.
Day and night, the bargains never close.
When you got Levi's, the legend you know, from the patch in your hip to the boots on your toes. When you got Levi's, you're always gonna win. You don't need another thing. Look at those Levi's, now you can tell they're more than just tough, they're a legend as well. Levi's, you got a legend. When you got Levi's, you got a legend. When you got Levi's.
Excuse me, could I have a packet of Samboy plain potato chips, please? On second thoughts, I think I'd like a packet of Samboy chicken-flavoured chips, please. Could you make that Samboy salt and vinegar chips, please? Okay. Look, how about just a nice packet of Samboy barbecue chips instead?
Samboy, the flavour really hits you.
Could I just have a glass of water, please?
And it's time now to have a look at some interesting statistics on the game thus far. Kicks, Essendon 102 to Collingwood's 93. Marks also favouring the Bombers, 37 to 32. Free kicks, well, they're playing in front now, the Bombers, particularly in that second term, 21 to 12. Handballs, well ahead, 15 ahead in the handballs, the Bombers. Hit-outs, they're winning them as well, and the shots to score also.
It's interesting, Sandy, the way they chip the ball around. The free kicks and the handballs are all in Essendon's favour, but Collingwood kicked the ball much longer.
A few of the interesting individual statistics, of course, Graham Allen 12 kicks, Gary Shaw's 11 kicks, and just quickly for Essendon, 10 kicks to Harbinson, 13 to Salmon, and 13 also to Chris Waterson, who's been a great player for the Bombers.
Right, we have Collingwood out on the ground. I think we might take this opportunity with the sun shining. Max Stevens in our chopper might be able to confirm that, Max, but from here it looks a beautiful day.
Shining, 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 Sandy, and that crowd inside the MCG has doubled since our first report, and I'm sure by about 2 o'clock it will have doubled again. The wind is still blowing from the south at about 15 knots, and as I said earlier, we're expecting a top temperature of about 15 degrees, but personally I feel if the sun continues to shine the way it is, it'll get to about 18. Jack Hamilton must have put in an order, who knows? Well, the traffic situation still very, very light around the main roads, around the MCG. And as I said before, if you're coming out in the next half hour, there's still quite a bit of parking available over at Olympic Park in Swan Street. We'll have another report later. It's now back to Sandy Roberts on the ground.
Thank you, Max. There's the Collingwood boys, and I noticed senior coach John Cale has just been out having a bit of a word with them. And, well, they're going to have to do something to get their rhythm back again and seeing if they can stop this run.
It was interesting today at quarter time, Peter said that the game was all over, Sandy.
Yes, well, that's Pete.
I just see Mark Wiedemann in the centre of that pack too, Sandy, with a big thigh bandage on. I'll just ignore that comment.
Yes, it was very well done, Peter.
At least I have a pick.
Oh, well, it's an uneducated one, let's say that.
All right, this is the atmosphere inside the ground. Stephen Phillips has left the overpass, I'm happy to say, of the Jolimont station. And there's no doubt about Stephen, if there's something going on, he'll find it, and he's outside the ground now. I think there's a number of picnickers and well-wishers there, so let's go to him.
Thank you. Very nice indeed. This group of very hospitable people have come from interstate, from overseas, and from the country areas to have a look at the grand final, and they're certainly doing it in style. I think the snags are just about cooked. There's half a steer's just gone on one of the barbecues, and the shazliks are warming up nicely. And really, it'd be pretty hard to drag himself away to go back in and watch the football. But, as I said, this is really the way to do it. It's just like Cup Week. People out here in the car park really enjoying themselves, getting into the spirit of grand final day.
Well, that could well be the end of Stephen for today. Let's hope not. But, well, that gives you an idea of the atmosphere that is starting to build around this ground. It really is, as the song so aptly says, that one day in September. The Essendon boys who charged with that 9-goal spree in the second term to go to a very handy little break. But, of course, Collingwood now in this quarter will be kicking to that end that has been so advantageous scoring-wise. As we said, 16 of the 19 goals produced thus far have all come from that end.
But it's not the fact of the bruise, and I don't want to argue with Peter. It's the fact that both teams, one went in for the ball, set up play, and then the other realised that we said halfway or 3/4 of the way through the first quarter that Essendon were finally starting to go in after the ball. If you look around at the flags, there is no bruise. It's just indicative of the way that the players want to go in after the ball.
There's Graham Teasdale with a grin on his face, but I think he'd be a lot happier man if the Magpies were in front. There he is, though. He's the captain of the side, and he's shouting out instructions to his teammates.
He looks as if he's lost a bit of weight, or whether it's the dark shorts, but he
certainly does
really
look
has looked as if he's worked on himself, which is a credit to him.
Set to go now, third quarter, the Army Reserve Cup grand final. Wiedemann charging straight in at Salmon, taken by Harbinson. A high kick down towards the half-forward line. Richardson's going to leave that, and an easy mark taken there by Scott Knight. Straight on with the business to the outer side, but the kicking has not been tremendously good today. Allen in trouble. Caught at the bottom of the pack. Shovels the football out, then has to go in for it once again, but the umpire will decide to put a halt to this, so Gubby Allen just hands it over. And another bounce. In they swoop. Those people who've just joined our telecast, Melbourne, successful comfortably in the under-19s. And the news is that it looks as though the interchange players for Essendon will come from Copping, Ezard or Clayton, and I would not be at all surprised if one of those players is in fact starting in the 18 with a doubt over a couple of players, namely Brian Wood and Billy Duckworth.
Half-back flank, or half-forward flank, in fact, for Collingwood. This is Noel Lovell. A long kick up towards the pocket. Alan Edwards ducks back. He hasn't had a real good day, Alan. It's towards Andrews. Andrews has been the absolute darling of the crowd today. All those Bomber supporters roar every time he goes near the football, and he's played a very, very good game. He picked up Alan Edwards early in the piece. Edwards was replaced. Andrews, with his good, strong and defensive skills, punching the ball away, has been a very good player for the Bombers. Here it is on half-back flank. Waterson, in my book, probably the best man on the ground, kicks it, looking there for Kevin Morris. Graham Allen couldn't take the mark, but ducks back after it. Gets in a hand pass. Over to Gary Shaw. Shaw with a further hand pass to Wiedemann with that thigh heavily bandaged. Greg Pfeiffer's come on the ground, and he kicks towards the pocket. Up, flying for the ball was Teasdale. Couldn't take it, and the ball goes over the line and out of bounds. The scoreboard at the moment, 11-6-72 Essendon. Collingwood on 8-5-53.
Just over 2 minutes of this second term played. Teasdale doing the ruck work. Sheldon towards the boundary line. Cooper applying the pressure, and over it goes again. Blue sunny skies above. O'Brien. The long handball out. Waterson towards the wing. Donnell missed it. He's got backup support, however. Cox was waiting for the handball. It doesn't come his way. The free kick is going to go the way of Collingwood.
15 metres too.
So this is going to give them a great chance of putting that ball right down towards Graham Teasdale.
He's too slow, Mark Wiedemann, because Salmon drops right back, and
that's right.
Whether he's going, he thinks he must be pretty confident he's going to kick a boomer from there.
Going the torpedo punt by the looks of it, Don.
There it is. It's into the square almost. Teasdale flew, but he didn't attempt to take the football. And the Bombers, through Mickey Davis, are able to run it out of trouble. He's a left footer, but he goes for the long handball in towards the middle, towards Merv Harvinson. He's taken out of it, and taken out of it very solidly. Andrew Smith gets up, gives it across to Kelly. Now an opportunity for Collingwood to go forward. Another high kick floating in towards the pocket. Teasdale can't complete the mark, had to go over the top. Cooper under plenty of pressure from Andrews, and the ball goes over the line for another throw-in.
That's what I say about Collingwood. You know, they play that long kicking game, and it can be brought undone the way Wiedemann brought them undone then, because Essendon cleared the ball very, very easily.
Yes, Mark should have got that ball down as quickly as he could down to Teasdale. Here's Lovell. He grabs it in the forward pocket. He snaps back at the goals. What's he done with it? He has put it through for a great goal.
Do something for yourself. Join the Army Reserve.
Centre bounce once again. 72 plays 59, a 13-point lead favouring the Bombers. Stoneham over his shoulder. Allen, the mark at half-back. Plays straight on to Toomey. There's some experience with those two. Out wide, Lovell can't complete the mark, and Stoneham makes plenty of pace to get to that football. Follows it down. Gets a shocking bounce. The umpire's allowing play to go on. As scooting away as the former West Australian Gary Shaw. Doesn't kick well. O'Brien in trouble. Wobbles a short kick. Waterson. The umpire's found a free kick, and it's going to go back to Kevin Morris.
He's a real worker, Kevin Morris. The way he's thrown himself in on a couple of occasions there, it's inspiring stuff.
Well, he's been inspirational throughout this final series as Callaghan takes a good one-grab mark, plays on quickly, trying to go short across to Richardson. He's in trouble with a little left foot chip. I don't know what he's doing, but he's found Greg Fife, and Fife will get Collingwood out of trouble. To Shaw, back towards the wing. No mark taken. O'Brien waiting at the back.
Well done.
He's got support too in the form of Thompson, who's able to pick it up and float it towards the half-forward line. Fife sees it go over the line on the full, so he will bring it back into play.
See, there's some acts of real, not acts of heroism, but some players really committing themselves and throwing themselves into the game.
Good mark. Anthony O'Brien over the top of the pack, and he's been a better player since going out to centre-half back, where he's had a bit of room. He was a little bit too worried about Teasdale.
Well, I think that's the point, Peter, and I'll take your point, because some players just can't play up there because it is a bit hard. They concentrate a bit too hard.
There's Michael Thompson getting it up to Davis. He's been a good player since he came on the ground. Over to Doug Cox. Cox, not a good hand pass, because Schultz was under a lot of pressure, but the ball comes loose towards Stoneham. Here come the Bombers. A hand pass out to Doug Cox. He lines up the goals, stabs at the goals, and I think he's missed just offline and through for one behind. And there's an Essendon player in the centre of the ground in all sorts of trouble, with four trainers, in fact, helping him to his feet.
Could be Thompson, I think.
Harbison. It is Harbison, in fact, as we see Craig Stewart bringing the ball into play. He kicks to the outer side of the ground. A very high kick. The pack flies. Michael Thompson from behind. Now it's Scott Knight. A lovely tackle that was. The punch on comes to Morris. Oh, cleverly done, Kevin Morris. Handball over to Richardson. He fires at the goals. Off the side of his boot. Up towards Callaghan. And the ball is knocked to the boundary line by Craig Stewart. Over the line now to bounce about 5 metres around for the behind post.
Merv Harvinson will be leaving the ground. He's certainly not okay. So that's bad luck for him. Peter Banfield will be his replacement. There's a chance now for Waterson. High, wide and handsome. Peter Banfield is on the ground. And Merv Harmanson holding the side of his head and also the left shoulder, and I think he just wants a bit of a spell. It came down pretty heavily. Craig Stewart looking for Butch Edwards. Over the top it goes. Davis, a little left footer with pace, into the centre. Cox sensibly pushing it down to the half-forward line. Past Lovell it goes, and almost past Carter. Picked up by Morris with a good handball. Gives it back. Morris again in trouble. Waterson sweeping to Richardson, who shoots towards goal, but he's put it out of bounds on the full.
He moves like his brother, doesn't he, Mike? Not quite as fast as we see Wiedemann with his thigh heavily bandaged is coming off the ground on interchange, and Stuart Atkin is coming on as there he is, Mark, with that right thigh heavily strapped, and I think he might have pulled a hamstring. The ball is back towards centre half back as Graham Allen with that wrist heavily bandaged onto the left foot. He's got the loose man in the interchange, player Acton, who strolls after the ball. He's got it though, and he takes his time and kicks it high. Teasdale comes out, caught behind. Ronnie Andrews drops the mark. In goes Andrews though to do the tackling. It's grabbed by Brett Cooper. Onto the left foot he goes, fires at the goals and kicks it out of bounds on the full. But the Essendon players are tackling. They're putting pressure on Collingwood and frustrating them, and they're not able to get their game going.
Actually, it's interesting battle now, Teasdale and Andrews. Teasdale had too much strength for O'Brien, but Andrews has just got the body strength, and that's why you've got to be an adaptable player, because Teasdale's just relying purely on strength, whereas Andrews can match him in that regard, so he becomes a negative player.
Sean Duncan's kick towards centre wing, and that one also will be out of bounds on the full. David Toomey taking a punt, and it didn't work. So Duncan again. Centre wing. Over the top of Allen it goes. Morris hoists it over his shoulders. Waterson is sat upon. The umpire will come in for a bounce. It's almost 10 minutes of this third term gone. And Collingwood as yet making really no great impression. Salmon almost went over the top. Andrew Smith. Kelly pushed in the back, and he'll be free kicked. The Woods want a couple of quick goals back in this. The kick from Kelly is long. Edwards in front spot, but O'Brien recovers well. Waterson. Donnell uses the body. Callaghan at the back. Waited for the bounce instead of taking a chance on it. Thrown out the back door. Carter's kick towards centre wing, and the mark not paid to Cox. Now 3 against 1 here. What can Douglas do? He's got a ton of pace. Does it well to Banfield. Put him under pressure, and he's going to lose it. So here come the Woods once again. Down towards half forward. Banks coming in from the side, but the whistle has sounded as Shaw was going into the open goal, and it will be a free kick going the way of Essendon.
The way Cooper threw his body in for the ball there, he just kept his eye on the ball the whole time.
Mark Thompson up towards centre wing, and the mark is taken by Waterson, who's playing a tremendous game for the Bombers. Almost on centre wing, nearly kicked into the man on the mark, but just gets it over towards half forward. Up they go, and a good mark over the back of the pack to David Toomey.
That's undisciplined play, Peter. He was lucky he took that mark. He should have punched it as a back man, because you know the Essendon player could have brought it down.
He's taken the mark.
I don't care. As a back man, he should have punched in that position.
Well, there it is with Fife. Oh, it's taken away brilliantly there by Sheldon, who's been a good player. He gets it over to Salmon. Salmon, who had 13 kicks in the first half. Over to Steve Richardson. He kicks up towards the forward pocket, just off line. Up goes Callaghan. Tries to keep the ball in play, but the ball is run over the line by Craig Stewart to be thrown in by the boundary umpire. The scoreboard at the moment showing Essendon on 11-7-73. Collingwood 9-5-59. Not making a great deal of impression at the moment as it's in that forward pocket, crashing his way through. It looked like Donnell. A hurry kick from defence right around the boundary line in front of the Melbourne members, and the ball goes over the line and out of bounds. About 25-30 metres around from the Essendon goal. Chance for Morris. He hooks it back towards the pocket, and the ball was touched off the boot. Signalled the field umpire to the boundary, and the throw-in will take place. And there's Kevin Morris. The ruck work to be done by Donnell against Atkin. Over the back was Toomey. Here's a chance now as the snap comes up towards the forward pocket area. Callaghan ducked back, couldn't take the mark. Murray Brown goes in after the football. Oh, he had a touch of the fumbles. Betterson was there. Hand pass comes to Craig Stewart, and a free kick will go back to the Collingwood player, and this might be taken off him if he's not careful. No, Scott Knight. Play on, said the umpires. He gives a hand pass out wide to Noel Lovell. Lovell from the back pocket streaks away from the opposition and goes short down towards Graham Allen, who marks at centre half back.
Allen will rip this up towards the centre, going the indirect way. Davis. Kelly threw it out in front of him, and will take the free kick. That was what he was after. And Mick Davis brought back 15 metres, and a handsome 15 at that. So Andrews and Teasdale. And that's where it heads, but look at that. No opposition at all for the big fella Salmon. Gives it across to Thompson. Andrews does the shepherding. Now receives the handball. And listen to the cheer from the crowd. And the Essendon fans love him. Schultz, centre wing. Stoneham. Shrugs the tackle easily. To the half-forward line. Betterson will come over the top. Callaghan. Banfield runs into trouble. Atkin has it ripped off him, and a shot at goal is good.
The advanced Quintrex picture tube inside means a better picture out front. You'll only see it on National. Pro quality shows through, huh? The more I see you. Want to see more? More new TV sets. More going for them. That's National. National sure puts more into television. The same pro quality that made their video systems famous.
With Peter Banfield kicking his first, Essendon moved to 12-7, leading Collingwood 9-5. An indecisive tap out of the centre. The Salmon's kick is smothered, picked up by Fife of Collingwood down towards Teasdale and Andrews. Ronnie judging it better. Did he give a slight nudge? Here's a goal to Gary Shaw. Teasdale poking it out the back. That was good work, and the quick answer.
That was good play by Graham Shaw. Sorry to cut in, Sandy, but he put himself in a... He's not playing as strongly as what he did against Young O'Brien, not with the same confidence against Andrews. But he still did the right thing. He put himself in front. The ball came through. He hit it back, hit it towards goal, and Shaw was a finisher. Teasdale the worker, Shaw the finisher. 2 goals to Gary Shaw. There he is. And certainly next year they'll be hoping for big things from Gary. He's lost some weight too, Peter. Yes, well, I don't think he'll be cramping today, Don. You'll be pleased to know. Well, at least he's made a step in the right direction. Well, 10-5 to 12-7. Essendon in front as we see Salmon again getting the hit out. Here come the Magpies, though, as Lovell on the left foot gets it down towards the half-forward line. Up they go after it. There's 2 against 1 here. Tony Russell is back on the ground. He's got the football, tries to knock it out. Players dive on top of the ball, and no one can get away with it. Half-forward flank for the Magpies. Number 52, you see, is playing a good, solid defensive game, Sean Duncan. Salmon doing the ruck work, gets it out wide. Kelly knocks it back into the play. Could have been a free kick to Tony Russell. It was, in fact, against Salmon. And I'm glad that Russell is back on the ground. If they're going to take him off, they should have taken him off for about 5 minutes and said something to him, then brought him back on. A shocking play there, though. Very lucky to get away with that, Collingwood. Andrew Smith receives the free kick. Now, he'll probably look down for Teasdale, who's making a lead. Out he comes now. Salmon and Andrews are there. Salmon did the right thing and punched the ball away. Here's Greg Fife. Onto the left foot he goes, hooks it back at the goals. No one there for the Magpies. And Ronnie Andrews. Oh boy. Now, did he give one to Cooper? That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, perhaps we'll be able to have a look in replay. That should be taken off him. You watch this. Yeah. You think the elbow was there? Oh, what do you think? I think there was a bit of acting in it. I thought there was a bit of acting too. I didn't think there was much in it, to be quite honest. Well, he doesn't act, that young fellow. No, you're right. Normally he's a pretty strong player, Brett Cooper, as we see Salmon, who's been a good player, goes for the short one to Steve Richardson. No one coming at him at the moment as he strolls down the ground, has a bounce. Now he's gone wide with the short pass, and a very good pass. The mark was dropped by Betterson. Now he's got it. He hooks it back at the goals. Offline, though, and out of bounds on the full. Stewart
17.5 minutes of this third term have elapsed. Richardson and Edwards, the latter winning out. The kick is badly directed by Butch Edwards, and Salmon takes an easy mark.
9 marks for the game to Salmon.
He's been a very good performer. And had a great first half, picking up 13 kicks. Waiting out wide is the sweeper Richardson. Callahan.
Quite a few backmen of Collingwood are playing from behind. We've noticed Scott Knight before when being led to the ball by Bettison, and there's Stewart being led to the ball by Callahan.
To the full forward region, and just touched through for 1 point.
Actually, Collingwood have got not much system, because when they do get the ball down forward, they just try and kick it long, and it's being swept away too easily by the Essendon defenders.
12-8 to 10-5, favouring the Bombers. Stewart, somewhat indecisive, elects to go down the middle.
Big kick.
And a prodigious punt. At the back is Shaw. With him, Sheldon. Shaw, superior pace at the moment, but not a favourable bounce. Fife chips in to lend assistance. Beers. Down towards full forward. Teasdale and Andrews, the battle here. Teaser almost used the body to perfection. Thompson comes out with the handball. And again, they're able to take it out as Sean Duncan goes with a long clearing kick up towards the centre wing area. Plenty of Collingwood Guernseys there, and they've got another chance to bring it forward. Herbert's kick floats in towards Fife, and he takes it on the right half forward flank. Doesn't waste any time, nips in towards the pocket and out of bounds on the full.
It's all right the way Collingwood are playing the ball, kicking it long, because Teasdale's not letting them down, but the smaller fellas have got to run past because they're going to punch it away from him all the time.
Mark Thompson. A low trajectory torpedo up towards centre wing, almost a mark to Collingwood. Is taken away by Lovell. He kicks towards Edwards, and Edwards marks. At centre half forward, about 35 to 40 metres out, directly in front.
Now this is typical of what Collingwood. He must kick a goal. The way he ran back, you know, he just didn't look down the ground. Now he's just got to kick a goal from that position.
Well, let's have a look at it. There's the high drop punt. The goal umpire moves across. He might have been just offline. He was. In fact, as that ball floated away and through for 1 behind. So Collingwood need goals at the moment. 10-6-66. Essendon on 12-8-80, and we'll see Ronnie Andrews here at fullback, about to bring the ball back into players. There's balloons all over the place. Now what's going on behind the play? The umpire's coming down to speak to Graham Teasdale.
He pushed the Sheldon.
Gary Sheldon, yes, number 45 for Essendon.
Just pushed him down as the fullback was kicking
that's
out.
Probably a bit of frustration, Don. It's a free kick, in fact, being given to Sheldon against Teasdale. He kicks it this time to the members' side of the ground. Oh, this bloke's a good player. Sean Duncan, a very, very good player. I think we'll see him playing senior football in future years. Over there to Graham Schultz. Schultz ducks away. Hasn't got the pace he used to have, but he gets it over to Salmon. Salmon should have given it to Banfield there. Now he'll go the long hand pass. Here's dangerous. Steve Richardson, 35 metres out. Fires at the goals. It's swinging, and what's he done with it? He's put it through for his 4th goal.
We've seen a whole lot of champions in Australia.
Now see the Rank Arena stereo video cassette recorder. So simple to operate, with this cordless full-function remote control. Even changes your TV channel. Loading is from the front and motorized. Plus Dolby control and full stereo sound facility.
The Rank Arena.
Champion video cassette recorders.
Essendon 13-8-86, a 20-point break over Collingwood, 10-6-66. Almost 21.5 minutes played, and it's the Bombers in attack once again. Cox puts out the pass towards Donnell. Can't take the mark, he's under pressure, and he and David Toomey see it over the line. Don't forget our live telecast of the big game on this afternoon. The Bombers and the Hawks. Who will take the 83 flag? Waterson centering the football. Brown coming over the top to do the spoiling work. And eventually pushed down towards Salmon, who caught one in the back.
Great mark by Russell.
Yes, he didn't appreciate that at all, though, Salmon. Russell's long kick. Andrews. Will he get away from Teaser? Well, there are balloons all over the ground there, and it's made it a little difficult for the players. Sean Duncan's in a spot of bother, but the long sweeping handball will get him out of it. And it's Sheldon who goes short to Waterson. Waterson across to O'Brien, and away they go again. Up towards Richardson, who marks on the left half forward flank. He plays on quickly with the left foot, swinging it round towards the forward pocket zone, and Schultz takes an easy mark. There's a few loose players now.
Yeah, young Sheldon's playing well. 45 for Essendon in the last line of defence.
Oh. Well, Don mentioned the arrogance that was possibly creeping into this Essendon side as the shot from Bettison goes straight through the middle. 14-8 to 10-6, and what a goal by the boy from Hamilton.
Well, that's what I mean. They just can't do a thing wrong, but nobody's to blame except Collingwood themselves, because well, you know, they're just not picking players up. They had the ascendancy, and now I really don't think Collingwood will come back in the game.
92 plays 66. Still a minute and a half away from entering time on. Edwards on the ball, taken away by Morris, who copped one unnecessarily. And the free kick down the ground will go to Peter Bamfield. Look at the loose men everywhere here on this half-forward line, and the mark dropped. Should have been held by Stoneham. Puts Bamfield under all sorts of pressure. Russell Dixon had his head almost pulled off.
Actually, it's interesting, Morris, I'm just looking behind play. Morris got hit. There he is. He's coming into play now. That's the difference between a senior and junior player. There he is on camera now. He got up immediately, he got injured, he brushed the trainers away, whereas every other young player at Essendon goes off the ground. And that's the difference. They're not tough enough.
Centre wing area. Brett Cooper gets in the hand pass. This is Peter Carter getting onto the left foot. Down towards half forward. Oh, it's all Essendon, though. This 45 again. I'm sick of calling his name, actually. Gary Sheldon. Oh, I tried to give it to Ronnie Andrews. He's got it. Gets in the hand pass. Back it goes to Sheldon again. Onto that left foot. Oh, boy. Behind the play, there was a little altercation as the ball goes towards the boundary line, over the line and out of bounds. And the Collingwood players pretty frustrated at the moment there because they are not playing well. Essendon well on top, and there's Ronnie shaking the head. He's the hero today of the crowd. No doubt about that, as we see Edwards against Donnell. Edwards a big hit out over to Fife. Greg Fife on the left foot kicks it wide. Ducking back and taking a nicely judged mark is Tony Russell at centre half forward. Now Russell, very casual play.
Exactly. Now he's just got to kick a goal.
And
he has.
Look. Out of the centre bounce, and it's Edwards who takes it away for Collingwood, but it's a high kick that doesn't gather much distance at all. No mark is taken. Davis goes to ground for Essendon. It's tapped out even wider, though, towards Morris, who basketballs it forward to Stoneham. Stoneham puts out the pass. Could have probably gone longer. Knight in trouble. Bettison over the top, trying desperately to shovel it out to Stoneham. He's successful. Stoneham has a hurried shot at goal and just sneaks it through for one behind.
Since that goal, Wayne Bettison's working really hard as a forward down there.
11-6 to 14-9. The Bombers in front. Craig Stewart on screen. Prodigious kick normally, about to bring it back into play. Time clock showing 26.5 minutes gone in this third quarter. Stewart kicks down there looking for Banks, who has been a fairly quiet player. It's grabbed by Banfield. He swings onto the left foot, lines up the goals, fires at the goals, and that is a beautiful kick, and he's put it through the centre for his second goal. A good effort by the young interchange player.
My word, he's come on and kicked 2 goals for the term.
It was also set up by young Thompson, number 26. You'll see it here on replay as Stewart kicks out. Thompson behind. That's an attacking move. The way he shot it across. And there's Banfield, 56, kicking for goal. And whoever can say that punching from behind is negative, well, there was a goal that evidences that.
Yes, I agree with that. But thank God not every player that out there on the ground goes to punch the ball. We'd never see a mark taken, Sandy.
Oh, centre bounce once again.
Unbelievable.
Edwards. Thompson in it once again. Duncan missed it. Cooper picks it up for Collingwood. Needs the player going past. Finds Kelly. He's under a bit of pressure. Gets a hurried kick over the shoulder. But there's 3 Essendon players there. Sheldon gets taken out of it. Bounces straight back onto the football and gives it to his teammate. And that's how easy it is. To Doug Cox. Look at him run. Caught. Caught by 3 players, but they'll get out of it with a favourable bounce. Look at that for luck. When it's running with you, everything goes right. Sheldon picks it up, goes across looking for Donnell. Toomey is there, and that's what I mean by going right. Donnell to Richardson. This will probably be another goal. Richardson gives himself a nasty angle and goes for the pass.
The Collingwood player just stopped and didn't chase.
Yes. Richardson again.
Toomey.
Donnell shoots at goal, and he's kicked another one. Oh, he's hit the post.
That is simply unbelievable. No what? David Toomey was running after opponent, and simply as if someone shot him, he stopped and then decided he'd better run again. They're going to lose the game, Collingwood.
100 plays, 72. Well into time on. There's not much time left in this quarter, as a matter of fact, as the big fella Salmon lopes away. Floats one in towards full forward. Bettison playing from behind. Callaghan at the back. Has he got the pace? Fife going with him, like Jack and the Beanstalk. Picks it up, goes right across the face of goal, and Bettison takes an easy mark. The siren has sounded, and Kevin Morris points to the goal, saying that's where you've got to go. So this is the last thing Collingwood needs at this stage. 15-10 to 11-6. The Woods trail at the moment. Wayne Bettison has kicked 2 goals to date. Now make it 3. And the Bombers go on their merry way. 16-10, 106, leading Collingwood, 11-6, 72.
From the man.
72. Before we have comments from Don Scott and Peter McKenna, we might go back up in the air once again. Max Stevens is spending the afternoon circling the ground. And Maxie, what's it look like from the air now?
Well, Sandy, as you can see, it looks ideal, and that weather is continuing and continuing to be ideal, and hopefully it'll stay that way until about 5 o'clock this afternoon. Earlier this week, tickets were sold out for the grand final, and I'm sure there'll be no doubt whatsoever that the VFL will see a crowd of about 100,000 at the MCG for the grand final between Essendon and Hawthorn. Looking around at the traffic situation, once again, it is still rather light, and as I said earlier, if you're still popping out, still a little bit of parking over at Olympic Park. We'll take it back to you down on the ground, Sandy.
All right, Max, just before you go, can you see any threatening clouds in the sky at all, or has it cleared pretty well?
Well, down at Geelong, Sandy, there are a few clouds, but they're staying down there over Cardinia Park, and I think, as I said, it'll stay fine. The sun's shining, and it'll stay that way until about 5 tonight.
Okay, Max, thank you for that. And a special cheerio to all our friends watching down in Geelong. We hope you don't get soaked. But there we are.
That's an unbelievable weather report, isn't it?
Well, in fact, we can probably see it a bit better than Max. We can see that cloud in the distance, but the day is good. And, well, it's just the one day in September we've all been looking forward to, that the 12 clubs have been striving for so long. And at last it is here. Kevin Morris can see a premiership in his sights for this Army Reserve side of Essendon's, and he certainly doesn't want to let it slip now.
I think this is the most important quarter, you know, when you're in a grand final, is this last quarter. Having played maybe in a couple of them, you can either come from behind, and it's just as hard to hang on because the other side realise it's the last quarter of the game or the year for them, and they really do apply themselves in the last quarter. So you really count the minutes off as a player.
So we're set to go in this final term. Players making their way to their respective positions. For Collingwood, it's got to be a last-ditch effort. They trail 16-10 to 11-6. They're not out of it, but they've certainly got the job ahead of them. They've looked so impressive.
They started impressively, Sandy, but full credit to Essendon. I gave them $100 last week because they play with such arrogance, and this is common with their senior team as well when they get in front.
Centre bounce to start the final term. Atkin on the ball. Collingwood need the first couple of goals and need them quickly. Allen held whilst not in possession, so he'll put the Woods into attack. Crowd really building to capacity now. It'll be up around the 80,000 mark already. Teasdale takes possibly his first mark for the day. His third, in fact. Well, he's been pretty quiet down there. Mind you, they haven't had a lot of forwards firing anyway. Tees has kicked a couple of goals, one in the first term and one in the second. See what he does with this one. It won't quite make the distance. Fife's waiting down in front. He'll shoot it over the shoulder, and he's kicked it. That's the start they wanted. A couple more quick ones, and they could be back in business. Greg Fife's first goal, 16-10 to 12-6.
It's a pity it's happening now. I'm sorry, Peter, but it's a pity it's happening now as we see Teasdale lining up for goal, because Fife snapped off the hands of the pack. They should have been doing that earlier in the third quarter when Teasdale was having the ball punched away from him continually by Andrews.
Good to see Greg Fife on the ground and in the play, and he's a very enthusiastic young player, a good little player too, and well, he's got a fair amount of ability. There's a player who's dominated the game in my book in Salmon. He's been a really top player today. Here it is over the back with Doug Cox. So the ball is tapped down to him. That was good play, Mark Thompson. Cox has got a ton of pace as he streaks away and goes for the short pass out wide. He's looking there for Michael Davis. He traps the football, goes for the long hand pass to Kevin Morris. A further hand pass out towards centre wing. There's a short passes offline here. He was looking for Salmon. Taking the mark there was Atkin. Atkin gets away with the football down towards the centre of the ground where the mark is taken by Kelly. Kelly's looking for the running Noel Lovell, who he gets shoved in the back by Sheldon. In goes Sheldon after the football. Banks has got it now. The Magpies starting to fight back as Banks has a casual bounce. Kicks it high up towards full forward. Andrews and Teasdale. Andrews with great strength. Here's the Bombers again as they're bringing it out of attack. Gary Sheldon went in hard after the football against Banks. Good, strong footballers. It's now on the half-forward line. The ball is smothered. In goes Lovell. He knocks it wide. Grabbed there by Doug Cox once again, who kicks it high. Doesn't travel a great deal of distance, about 20 metres, up towards Salmon. He gets bundled out of the way. Scrambly play at the moment as Atkin charges through and intercepts that hand pass. Atkin has a bounce. He's on half-forward flank. He kicks it back towards full forward. The high flyers there, and it's a lovely mark taken by Tony Russell. Hand pass over the top. Here's another goal coming up to Collingwood. This time it's kicked by Tony Beers. 16-10, 106. Essendon, Collingwood fighting back, 13-6, 84 as we see Steve Richardson trying to crash his way through the pack. The Magpies are back in business here as Stuart Atkin kicks up towards centre forward. There's an Essendon player down behind the play. Here's the chance as the hand pass comes out wide to Sheldon. Sheldon streaks away with the football. He goes wide to Michael Thompson, who marks on half-back flank. And there's Steve Richardson, who was hurt in the centre of the ground. I think winded only. Kevin Morris will try and lift his side here. Oh, he copped one in the back, and Kevin Morris will get the free kick on centre wing. Morris with Peter Carter on the mark.
Peter, Essendon have got to continually attack. If they go defensive now, they'll lose the game.
Not a good kick taken by Salmon. Short to the half-forward line, but not short enough. He was looking for Callaghan.
That's bad play, Salmon.
Stewart, too much height. Allen, well, they both combine. Kelly's handball back to Stewart. Back again. Murray Brown waiting towards the centre. Gets his kick away this time. Up towards the half-forward line. Banks setting himself. Outmanoeuvred on that occasion. Under plenty of pressure as Beers. Tackled too high, said the umpire. And he plays straight on. Short to Gary Shaw, who goes across the ground. Andrew Smith's a left footer, and it's a long left foot kick. Looking for Teasdale. And he says to Ronnie Andrews, I got you on that one, my friend.
It's a very good mark.
It was a good mark. A very, very good mark.
A real strength duel there. Teasdale won out, then eventually just chipped in front. And they badly want this goal, the Magpies. If he kicks this one, they're right in it with a chance because they're fighting back. If he misses it, well, I think they might drop their bundle a bit.
He's coming around a bit there.
Let's have a look. The drop punt. Oh, he's kicked it across the face, I think. Yes,
he didn't really
missed.
concentrate, Peter. I noticed just as he started to walk in, he went to the left. He tried to get a little bit more angle or lessen the angle, and that's why he didn't kick the goal, I believe.
16-10 to 13-7, and Andrews brings it back into play. This huge crowd with thousands of Bomber fans in it, with a sigh of relief.
Oh,
Salmon.
shit.
Too much height, and what a game he's playing. 11th mark. Thompson, short again. Stoneham from half forward. The drop punt. Callaghan waits down, but he's got support in Schultz.
That was a good mark by Graham Schultz. He started from behind, then worked his way right into the front position.
That's exactly right. A clever mark and experience.
Now, Teasdale missed from point-blank range one end. If Graham Schultz kicks this one, then...
He's not point-blank range. I think he'll kick this.
Could be in trouble. He has.
You can punt on Saturday winners. Hope your numbers soon come up. Take a bet at the casino. Try to woo all lady luck.
17-10 to 13-7 as we go back for the centre bounce once again. A mighty thump by Salmon down towards the half-forward line if they get the handball going, but he wasn't quick enough, Banfield, on that occasion. And we'll see a bounce. And the players running. This is what we've seen in the Essendon senior lineup in the past 8 or 9 weeks. Once they get it moving, they're terribly difficult to stop. Schultz does the shepherding work for Banfield this time. Chips in towards full forward. And it goes right across the face of goal for a throw-in the left forward pocket.
Isn't it interesting in a grand final? Anything can happen. I said that, you know, Essendon were not out of it, but they were a long way behind. And how they can come back. The players can really rise to occasion, especially in a grand final.
Carl Herbert in after the football to the boundary line it goes and over the line once again. The Magpies in all sorts of trouble. And we must recall the under-19s, of course. Melbourne defeated North Melbourne 16-11-107 to North Melbourne 8-10-58. We're still in that forward pocket region. Essendon player there, Graham Schultz, trying desperately to get it out. Scott Knight, number 50 for Collingwood, but the bounce will take place right in that forward pocket area. Donnell is there to do the ruck work. He's beaten by Acton. Oh, the ball is smothered, that kick. In goes Schultz and Murray Brown. Over the line it goes and out of bounds. A very good win to the Melbourne under-19s against North. North are on top all year. But once again, Ray Jordan, coach of a winning premiership side. Donnell gets it down to the ground. That'll be a free kick to Acton for over the neck. Stuart Acton has been interchanging from the bench today with Mark Wiedemann. Wiedemann obviously has a thigh injury. The ball is on half-back flank, and a bit of shepherding was going on there. And Dennis Banks will be the recipient of the free kick.
Incidentally, in the under-19s, Melbourne an easy win, 16-11 to North Melbourne's 8-10. As you called it, Pete. And there's no doubt about Ray Jordan, is he? He's the king of the kids. Done a great job with the juniors in football in this state. To centre wing. Thompson's kick to the half-forward line once again. The aerial work done by Bettison unsuccessfully. Stewart twists out of trouble and gets a good handball. He saw Carter alone. He's able to get a kick up towards the half-forward line. And here comes, he's like a praying mantis. Paul Salmon. To centre wing. Well intercepted by Banks.
That's the weakness in Salmon's game, I reckon, Sandy. He goes some stupid passes at times.
Well, Collingwood the chance now. Herbert receiving. Up towards Teasdale and Andrews. Andrews over the top with the fist. Fife! Couldn't get an effective kick away. May get another opportunity. Out the back it comes. It's all Collingwood now as Allen picks it up, steadies and shoots with the left foot and puts it through. So still they keep coming back.
We've seen a whole lot of champions in Australia.
Now see the Rank Arena stereo video cassette recorder. So simple to operate. With this cordless full-function remote control. Even changes your TV channel. Loading is from the front and motorized. Plus Dolby control and full stereo sound facility.
The Rank Arena.
Champion video cassette recorders.
17-10 to 14-7. Can the Woods keep coming back? Salmon out of the centre. Atkin very quickly sets upon him. Morris comes away with the football. Out wide, or the bounce is going to favour Carter, but he's tackled. Could possibly have been free kick that allows Thompson. He goes short to Richardson. Running the boundary line, he steadies, goes short again, looking for Bettison. Can't pick it up on the half volley, and in fact, is well tackled, and a succession of good handballs will see Russell Dixon come away for Collingwood. Back towards the wing position. Overcame Sheldon. Waiting down is Morris. He's in trouble though. Herbert can pick up the handball. They can sweep this out wide. Now the opportunity for them. The long kick should come from Allen. Has he got the pace to get away? He has. He's just kicked the goal. Has he kicked another one? No, he's gone right across the face of goal. And 1 point.
Actually, I said that Essendon are winning the game. I really don't know. Collingwood could come back into this the way they're playing now. Essendon are starting to play a little bit more defensively.
Ronnie Andrews from full-back, as I said earlier, has been the real darling of the crowd. Over it comes there to Kelly. Kelly from centre-half forward, kicks it long. He's looking for Teasdale. Andrews pushes Teasdale in the back. I'd like to have a look at that one again. Teasdale, not too impressed. Might have been a bit of acting going on there, but Andrews was caught behind.
I wouldn't be
once again.
surprised if he's twinged his knee because he was limping before.
Well, there's Salmon punching the ball out wide. Here's Doug Cox. He's got a ton of pace, has a bounce. Oh, look at him running away with this one, Cox. Look at the pace. A long hand pass to Richardson. Richardson, a wide hand pass. Oh boy, it won't come off those. It comes back to 5-4. What happened behind the play there? There's a free kick going on behind the play. It looks like it's against Andrew Smith. And the players are Doug Cox. Let's see if we can see what happens.
There it is on
There
replay.
it is. Oh, boy. Right in the stomach with a few stops.
So, Douglas.
That's how you stop a runner, Peter.
That's your trick against...
Well, he
used
was
to be
running,
your
he was
trick
running
against Dempsey, wasn't it, Don?
Well, he was running
Years ago.
arrogantly down the ground.
Didn't you get Dempsey one final? Accidentally, of course.
Never played in a final against him.
Didn't you?
Almost 13 minutes gone. Cox, prodigious punt. Off target. 1 point only. 17-11 to 14-8 on the Sevens scoreboard.
Was that the MCG one day? It mightn't have been a final.
Our live coverage coming your way on the Seven Network and associated stations throughout the afternoon, and our live coverage also going to the United States for the very first time. So we hope wherever you are, you'll be able to sit back, relax and enjoy. Sheldon cutting across that half-back line prevents yet another Collingwood attack, puts it out towards the wing. Davis flew somewhat casually. Smith in with a hurried kick. O'Brien, well done. Took the punt and it's come off. Casually. Centering the ball to Stoneham, who was certainly giving great thought to running on.
Can't afford to stop the game like he's doing now.
Well, he kicks in towards the flank, a very badly directed kick and an equally bad attempt to mark. I think it was Murray Brown at the bottom of that pack going in to try and make an amends now, and in fact is going to come out with the free kick. So from the back pocket, back towards the wing. Salmon is there.
Oh, good mark.
Waiting for it on this occasion.
Carl Herbert.
And that was, well, the short and the tall of it. Waterson had a great first half. Been somewhat more subdued in the second. Morris. That's the enthusiasm and leadership qualities of Kevin Morris. It was a 2-on-1 battle. And, well, he persisted. And force a bounce. Atkin wins it. Back towards the wing. Plenty of pushing and shoving going on. The umpire picked it up this time, although O'Brien took the mark. It was certainly a Collingwood free kick. There was a decent old hoik, so it gives Russell the opportunity of going long to Teasdale in front. Could almost have been free kicked again. Sheldon smothered and will be free kicked.
Actually, that's Sean Duncan, isn't it? I'm sorry to correct you, Sandy.
I think Sheldon was wearing the 45 Guernsey.
It's at 52.
Yes, that's Sheldon.
Yes, I'm
Duncan
sorry.
was the player running away with the football. Sorry. That's Gary Sheldon right in the back pocket after that free kick. A very high floating drop punt. He's looking for Salmon. Salmon caught behind on this occasion. Good play, Michael Davis. Ducked the head and copped one straight in the head. And the umpire's playing the free kick. Now he's playing the advantage rule as the kick comes up towards centre half forward. Over the back. That's a mark. And down he goes. And that could be 15 metres. So that'll bring Frank Donnell. What's this one? As he takes the second bite, he cops one right across the head. And
isn't it amazing? Young Davis had just went down before. He looked up. He didn't get the free kick. It was played on down again, so he stayed on his all fours. Had he got the free kick or taken the mark just like Donnell did then, he would have got up. I wonder if Donnell would have stayed down out of not taking the mark.
Well, there's Donnell, about 35 metres out from goal, directly in front. Should make the distance, no worries. Let's see what he does. Oh, no, he doesn't make the distance. Doesn't get onto that drop punt. It's in the goal square. Murray Brown attempts to kick it. Here's a chance for Schultz. Clever play by Schultz, looking for Bettison. He taps it back over his head. Here's a chance now for Collingwood to bring it out of defence through Toomey. He's tackled well there. And, oh, boy, is that against Toomey or not? Play on, no, said the umpire. And the mark from that quick kick comes to Donnell. And once again, he's got a chance to kick a goal, this time from about 30 metres out, 45
Actually,
degree
Wayne Bettison down in the forward pocket in the forward line, Peter, is working really, really well. The way he's tapping on, he's smothered earlier in that quarter. In the third quarter, he's really worked hard. And it's, you know, I hope for his sake that his team rewards him.
Well, here's Frank Donnell lining up for goal number 3. Chips that one high. The goal umpire doesn't move. 3 goals to Frank Donnell.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the premiere of a great new soft drink, the premiere of Diet Coke.
Introducing Diet Coke. You're gonna drink it just for the taste of it. Living good with Diet Coke. This is the one from Coca-Cola. We're gonna taste with just 1 calorie. Just for the taste of it.
Centre bounce once again, 18-11 to 14-8, an infringement in the square, and it's not going Stuart Atkins' way, it's going to go the way of Salmon. He's been supreme for the bulk of the day, and the big fella floats a punt kick up towards Bettison, flying from behind and against Scott Knight. Now Peter Carter the opportunity, and an airy. Waterson couldn't do anything with it. Stoneham gets a hurried kick, but in the meantime the whistle sound, and I think the free kick will go the way of Collingwood. He didn't get an effective handball away. In fact, it was an illegal. To centre wing, Edwards and Atkin. The latter tries to tap it forward to Herbert. His handball, Salmon. Herbert again makes amends with the left foot. Teasdale hasn't got the pace to get to the football, and Roddy says thank you, and listen to the crowd. Out wide to Kevin Morris, the leader. Callaghan gives the lead, can't take it, and it goes over the line between the flank and the right forward pocket for the Bombers.
See, Graham Teasdale certainly has got a long way to go to get himself 100% fit, Don.
How he did ever play a game of football earlier in the season is beyond me, if that's any evidence of how he's played all year.
Yes, he's had that serious knee injury, but still a summer under his belt, he might be on.
Oh, he'll be a different player next year.
Yes, I agree with that. There's Waterson grabbing the football, lines up the goals, it's swinging back. Now, just offline, said the goal umpire, and through for behind. There's Chris Waterson, been a very good player today, especially in the first half. Scoreboard, 14-8 Collingwood, Essendon on 18-12. Time clock showing just over 19 minutes into this final quarter.
There's the kick. Plenty of high flyers, and the man in front, I think, is going to be paid the mark.
He's played a fair game since he came on too.
Yes.
Michael Davis. This will be interesting. He's normally a great kicker of a football on that left foot. Let's see with a drop punt if he can probably lob it in the goal square, I think.
And Peter won't be far wrong. Donnell waits down, and it floats over the top, but no, it was touched, and 1 point only. I think Frank Donnell thought we'll have a try at this one.
Was that David Toomey that went for the big mark then, Peter? I just didn't see on replay, but
Not sure.
He should have punched from behind.
There's the kick from Stewart coming out towards the half-back line. Michael Thompson ducks back, and the big now that's a free kick being paid Essendon's way on this occasion. An interchange being made. Graham Teasdale off the ground. We saw him go for that mark.
He can't even walk, Cooper.
Well, Cooper's got his ankle strapped very heavily, and oh, that's a good mark. That is a very no mark, said the umpire. Well, it certainly looked like a mark to Frank Donnell. The umpire was a lot closer than us and is not paying it.
I think Frank thinks it was a mark too, but it's not going to be paid now. Well,
let's have a look at this one. Let's see if it was a mark. He flies, first bite. Oh boy, he did touch the ground, so the umpire's probably right, but a good attempt.
Stoneham. In fact, Donnell's in a spot of bother with an ankle behind the play. Stewart. just cramped a bit.
No, I think he's got cramp.
Yep.
Does that mean he's not fit, Don?
Stewart to Banks.
He'll be fit.
Wobbles a punt up towards half forward, but Essendon can see it in their sights now. And this is Sean Duncan.
I think he's got more than cramp wrong with him.
To centre wing, Richardson and Edwards. Big Butch paddling the footy along in front of him, taps it out cleverly. That was good football to Carter. Carter goes up towards the half-forward line, and the mark is taken there by little Carl Herbert. He hasn't got a lot up forward. He's got a limping Brett Cooper. He can hardly walk. So he goes indirectly towards Fife. Short again, Gary Shaw. Thought about it. And is now going to go back.
Now he's going to kick long into goal. They haven't got anybody of any height down there, Collingwood. Salmon's by himself. Russell, I suppose. But this is where they need two stars. At least to put himself in front.
And that tells the story.
About mark number 13, by the way, to Paul Salmon as the hand pass comes over there to Gary Sheldon. He goes the short one to Michael Thompson, who marks right in front of the Melbourne members stand. Essendon on 18-13, Collingwood on 14-8. So the Bombers well in control. It's a short pass comes to Mark Thompson. They're fiddling around with the ball at the moment, just keeping possession. Steve Richardson marks on centre wing, caught with the ball. Not good play. Gary Shaw intercepts, goes for a long hand pass to Alan Edwards. He ducks around cleverly. Swinging now onto the left foot. Let's see what he does with this kick. Oh, it's a pretty ordinary one. He was looking out there for Kelly. He can't get away. Good strong tackle there by Morris. A hand pass from Davis over to Banfield. Banfield's gone short looking for Donnell. Here's a chance for the Bombers. The bounce favours Frank Donnell into the open goal, and he taps it through for goal number 4 to Frank Donnell.
Do those old wooden windows need painting again?
Cheer up your house with Alcan. Your home will be thankful, refurbished and completely tranquil.
The Alcan replacement window system is tailor-made to fit perfectly. It makes your home look young again. See that easy sliding action, sleek and beautiful. Why paint when these Alcan finishes are so durable?
Cheer up your house with Alcan. Get rid of the homesick blues.
The sun is out there, and all the way Valvoline motor oil goes with you, protecting your car's engine, beating the heat in stop-and-go city traffic. Valvoline, for all kinds of cars, all kinds of motoring.
Dennis Banks has just got the handball across to Dixon, who goes long up towards the half-forward line, but they've got nothing up forward at all, Collingwood. Sheldon comes away yet again. He's got Thompson loose on centre wing, uses that player to advantage now. Edwards is the only player there. He's shepherded out of it. He goes in towards the half-forward zone. Stoneham did not take the mark, possibly should have. Stewart gives the handball across to Shaw. Shaw up towards Russell on that half-forward line, and he will take the mark. So Russell, who spent some time on the interchange bench with this very casual approach, goes with a prodigious torpedo punt, and he's hit the post.
That was an incredible kick because that hit the post nearly to the top, and he was at least 60, 70 metres out.
That's the talent that the kid's got if he wants to use it. The ability is there. He's a magnificent kick, but I still think it's up to himself if he wants to make a league player. Richardson
Cox leaves it for Richardson, who gets tripped. Has time to get up and give a handball away, but it's going to beat Sheldon over the line, and so another throw-in to take place. Almost into time on, and the Premiership Cup is just about in Essendon's keeping. They lead by some 34 points. Allen in all sorts of bother. The handball is shot out from Salmon to Duncan. And away they go again. He can bounce his way up to the half-back line. Elects to go short to Stoneham. Linkman has also picked up plenty of kicks. Beddison the target. Toomey over the top to spoil, but too many backup supporters for the Bombers. Up towards full forward. Donnell again.
It's a good mark, that.
It's a very good mark. A good kick too by young Banfield too, Peter. They've got a lot of skill, Essendon, and that's why their senior team exactly the same. They've got a lot of skill, as have Hawthorn. It'll be a very good game later on today.
I reckon this bloke's very stiff not to be in that senior side too. He played very well when he came on against North Melbourne.
Well, he's got 4 to his credit to date. Very deliberate in his approach. He tends to float the ball off the boot, and he swung that one round.
Actually, that number 7 brings back memories. As a little boy, I used to follow Essendon wear that number. It was the late Billy Hutchison's number.
And Charlie Payne after that.
Yes, but I wore it because of Billy Hutchison.
One more point on the board as Peter Carter takes the mark.
He's a great player, Billy Hutchison.
Oh, he was magnificent, magnificent.
Stewart. Lovell. I think it's just about all over for the Woods now, though. A minute and a half of time on played. Duncan recovers well and taps the ball forward, looking for his skipper there in Kevin Morris, and he in turn continues to paddle it out.
Well done, Brett Cooper. Keep going.
Cooper's still going. Look at that on one leg. The man can hardly walk, but he's put out a pass and found Russell on the forward line.
He was gone, and that was a fantastic effort. It was an individual effort. The way he chased that ball and set it up for Tony Russell. I hope Tony Russell finishes it off properly for Brett Cooper's sake.
He has. So Tony Russell
is new for all the crew. Red Rooster's chicken boat. Now when the rumbling Tom says, chicken please, Mum. Red Rooster hits the note. Golden brown chicken and lots of chips all aboard the chicken boat. So when the kids need treating, it can't be beaten. Come and get a chicken boat. Get the boat, get the boat. Red Rooster's chicken boat.
19-14 to 15-9, as I said. Shane Irwin on the ground for Andrew Callaghan. Irwin just getting a taste of finals footy. They're going to win it, there's no worries about that. Thompson puts the ball out wide, it chases the boundary umpire. Kevin Morris is there for the Bombers. I think if they had an award probably for a final series player, he'd have to go very close to getting it, Kevin Morris, Don.
I think the Essendon have had a few because we've seen them on quite a few occasions, and they've had quite a few contributors.
Knight. Oh, Smith's in trouble. He'll get out of it, though. Atkin couldn't take the mark, but fortunately for him has backup support. Russell again. Thought about going on. He's got Shaw and Edwards, but elects to go longer, and there's no one home.
Oh, that's disgraceful.
2 Essendon players, and Sheldon says, look, I'll take it. You can shepherd me. And that's exactly what he does. He's bounced his way almost up to centre wing. He's still going. Now kicks it over the wing. Coming to meet it was Schultz. Lovell will see it over the line. No, he just keeps it in play. Schultz has got to do it on his own. Banks can give the handball away to Carter. He gets caught, puts the ball out in front of him. Sheldon goes in strongly and will be free kicked.
Played a great game, Sheldon. Gary Sheldon in defence. He copped one right in the stomach there. He's having a few words to say.
Well, that's what you do. You just show them. And, you know, Carter, you know, he could have got the ball earlier, but he didn't want it.
19 kicks to Gary Sheldon. That's how well he's played in defence as the ball goes towards the boundary line for Shane Irwin can get to it. Number 31, who came on in place of Andrew Callaghan. Half forward flank for the Bombers. Game well in control. Edwards does the ruck work. A left-handed flick pass out the back. Kevin Morris goes in after it. Gets the bounce at the end. On the left foot he goes wide, and I don't think he'd be too perturbed about that kick as it goes out of bounds on the full. Peter Carter, or is it Carl Herbert? Carl Herbert is going to receive this one. We've been playing almost 30 minutes into this final quarter. The Bombers have it well in hand. As kicking it is Alan Stoneham. He's looking down there for Danellas. There's the siren, and the Bombers have won the premiership in the Army Reserve Cup for 1983, and they've won 19 goals 14, 128 to Collingwood, 15 goals 999.
Yes, a great win to the Essendon side. They weren't in the hunt in the first term. Collingwood kicked 7 goals 3. Essendon could kick only 2 goals 2. But from quarter time on, it was all the Bombers. They kicked 9 goals 4 in what turned out to be a match-winning second quarter. That's when they set it up. And they went on with the job.
Actually, since quarter time, Sandy, Essendon kicked 17 goals to Collingwood's 8, and they really did dominate the game after that time. And Collingwood had the chances early on in the first quarter. The way they started, it was a credit to them. They really did want to win the ball, but then lapses of concentration. You just can't afford those in grand finals, and allowed Essendon to come back into the game and win it.
Don, best players and your $100.
Well, today, you know, you'd like to give it to the team, but there was one fellow, I've seen him over for quite some time now. He played well last week. He played well the first time. He's still got a long way to go, and he's just got to get a little bit tougher in his outlook and his disposition. He's only 18, but he's got it. He's got a lot of work to do. We mentioned about his disposal, and that is Paul Salmon. I thought his game was a tremendous effort.
Okay, and there he is, Paul Salmon, the winner of the $100, and Doug Cox, Mickey Thompson, and the elated Essendon camp after taking out the Army Reserve Cup Grand Final. We hope you'll stay with us now as we present the Grand Final of the seniors between Essendon and Hawthorn. That game coming your way in just a few minutes' time. On behalf of Don Scott and Peter McKenna, Sandy Roberts for now saying farewell from the Army Reserve
Grand
Cup.
Final was another live and exclusive Grand Final Day football presentation from 7 Sport.